When I say I'm a revolutionary, people don't understand the context. I literally grew up a revolutionary. I literally grew up someone looking to bring justice to what my mother had gone through. Moi decided that he was abducting us, and he did. 5 of us, student leaders. And he detained us at Nyayo House for 14 days. And we didn't know where we were.
Are you afraid at all?
No. Of course not. I've never been afraid of anything.
Okay.
I've always been prepared. If today I told you find corruption in this room, and I gave you these people for 30 days, and one of them is corrupt, and you come to me and you say you can't prove, is that incompetence? Because you should be able to prove it. I don't accept no for an answer when I want something, and I know I'm entitled to it. The thing that keeps us behind more than anything else, not poverty, not lack of education, not unemployment, is fear.
Here we go. What's up, folks? Welcome to the Couch Connect episode 100. And yeah, I'm here hanging out with Dr. Miguna Miguna today. This is so surreal. We did something like this in Nairobi last week. And when I was doing this in Nairobi last week, I didn't think that this was going to be as lively as it is today. Thank you very much, Rosie, for the amazing performance together with Mr. Jonathan. And thank you, Dr. Miguna Miguna, for making it here on time. This guy was here before most of you guys were here. He was expecting us to start at 2. Unfortunately, I didn't share the itinerary with you. We were actually going to start at 3, the recording. The 2 o'clock was going to be, the doors opening, and the music was going to be done from 2:30 to 3. And then 3 was going to be, you and me. So I'm so sorry that I didn't clear that out.
It's okay. I got to enjoy the music.
Yeah. Thank you very much. We started this a couple of years ago. So my first producer was over here, Mr. Kevin. When we started this in 2021, I think December 4th or some weekend in December, I forget which one exactly. Kevin was the producer, and we didn't know that we would ever get here. So my friend, his name is Tobias, told me, just push this thing. Make sure you only get if you get to episode 8, you'll be fine, something like that. And the moment we started, I was always aiming for episode 8. And somehow we got to episode 8, we went past episode 8, and now we're in episode 101. Of course, there's been ups and downs along the way, but somehow we made it here. So thank you very much.
Congratulations, my friend.
So thank you very much, Dr. Miguna, for sitting here with us. This conversation has been titled, so the Nairobi, the Toronto, and the Minneapolis edition have been titled the Unresolved Tour. And the reason why we titled it that is to talk about resolutions that we have that have been unresolved from the past. So we all have resolutions. I don't know about you guys if you have any New Year resolutions or past year resolutions or anything like that are still unresolved. Sometimes relationships, sometimes jobs, sometimes dealing with the snow in Canada. Sometimes we probably want to learn a new skill in the new year, and we probably never figure that out. And Dr. Miguna here is going to help us break that down today. And we also get an opportunity to get some audience members to ask a couple of questions, and we're also gonna get guys from X to ask us a couple of questions, and we all try to answer them together with Dr. Miguna. So, Dr., let me ask you: when you were coming here today, what did you expect?
I was expecting to find a real couch.
I am so sorry.
And the next thing I think was whether or not you're going to be all set or what I found. So I was expecting 2. So I'm not disappointed, because when you are expecting one or the other and you get one, then you're okay.
Yeah.
Plus, of course, I met people that I have not met before. Hillary, I've been talking to him, but I've never actually met him physically.
Oh, really?
Then, of course, I've met people I've met many years ago, and most of them are new faces. Yeah. Brand new. I think 95% of the faces are new, which is good.
Yeah, which kind of goes to show you that there is always, I think the population that we always hang out with is probably going to change as years go by along the way.
The population has increased in Ontario for Kenyans, I think.
Okay.
And of course, those who came earlier, their children have grown up and they're now adults. So some of the adults I'm seeing, I think, were born here. So either side is good. It's good news. Yeah, it's a good thing to see. And when I look, I think the majority of them are very young. Yeah, which is another good thing.
True. You know, let's take this a little bit. A while back. Can you paint a picture for me of what Canada looks like when you moved here? I came to your office and we were having a chat. And you were telling me that all of Vaughan was empty. So it's day 001. You're landing at Pearson Airport. Did you land at Pearson? Is it okay for me to assume?
I did.
Okay, so what does that look like?
First of all, unlike many of you, probably unlike all of you, when I came, I didn't know anybody. So basically, I'm coming to a country where I know no one. Zero. Not one person I know. Yeah. I don't even know the person who is going to meet me at the airport.
Oh.
So I don't have a name. I don't have a number. I don't have a picture or image. I don't know what to expect, other than theoretically what I had read about, what I had seen in movies, because TV was rare.
Yeah.
So I arrive at the airport. I think this I've actually documented in a book. And I don't know what to do. I mean, other than following where you're supposed to go, right? They tell you somebody's going to meet you there. And the person who meets me after I clear immigration is a white woman who can't pronounce my name. So she shouts a name that I can't recognize, I don't react to. And then I realize it is me. So she takes me to, thankfully, a limousine. So I'm impressed. And then when we get in and the driver starts driving, I say, wow, will I ever get used to this? Meaning, it looks completely different. The highways are too big, the cars are moving too fast, there are too many highways, too many vehicles. And I'm starting to imagine whether I would actually get used to this, right? In terms of driving, in terms of knowing your way around. Remember, this is a villager.
Yeah.
From some village in Nyando, constituency in Nyanza, who had never left the country, who had not even gone to Mombasa. The farthest I'd gone was Nairobi, right? Where I was going to school. So we arrive where we are going, and I'm here. Many years later.
I want to take this opportunity to give a shout out to a sponsor of this episode, Kendi Home Survey Realty. If you want to buy a property, whether it's a property for you to live in or a commercial property for you to invest in, reach out to Kendi. Kendi Home Survey Realty has made it possible for multiple lives to be transformed. If you want to transform your life today and move to one of the coolest provinces in Canada, reach out to Kendi Home Survey. Thanks, Kendi Home Survey, for making it possible for us to continue bringing amazing content to our audience.
But as to how the city was, it was fast-paced the same way it is today. I think winter was more severe than it is now. Winter was biting. But
what month did you arrive here?
Some of it is because you're not used to it, right? No, I actually arrived in June, thankfully.
Oh, okay.
June the 25th. So I remember the day, June the 25th, 1988. So that's when I arrived. And so I didn't know how winter was going to be, but I knew winter would be coming, right? And the city, because you see, I never thought of the city beyond North York. In fact, North York was so far.
from downtown Toronto.
Because when they brought me, they put us somewhere. I say us because a friend of mine from the same university had come a month earlier, same group. And we were, imagine where we were put, Dundas and Jarvis, around there. It's close to the courthouse, and there was a guest house there. So that's where they put us. And for people who came here a long time ago, I think the people who are young may not know. At night, in the evening, that area there, they had it was Koinange Street.
Okay.
So imagine you've just come to a new country, you have very high expectations, you think this country is developed and everything, and at night, all you see are the Koinange girls. So that was frightening.
For context,
yes.
There's non-Kenyans here. So for context, Koinange is...
So you can translate it.
It's red light district. And you know, what you said here was also very interesting. I had a member of the audience here, Joy, say that... make an explanation and you said that you landed here in 1988. How many here were born in 1988? I wasn't born. So
they had not even been... There was no thought of conception.
Truthfully, I'm looking at the audience here and I'm literally thinking 99%, probably 98% of this audience hadn't been born then.
Who were born after 1988? You see? It's not 99, but it's quite a number.
Yeah.
Including you. And this is a guy who is postdoc, right? So you can see. It's been a while, right?
So when you take that plane from Nairobi, there's something you said here.
No, I didn't take a plane from Nairobi.
Oh.
No.
So how do you, where's your point of origin?
The point of origin is called Manzini. Okay. Manzini is a town in Eswatini. Who knows Eswatini? You know Eswatini. It used to be called Swazi, the kingdom of Swaziland.
Yeah.
So that was the point of origin. The connection was, at the time, I think it was called Jan Smuts International Airport, but now it is called Oliver Tambo International Airport in South Africa.
Yeah.
Then another stopover was at JKIA, but we didn't leave the plane. We couldn't leave the plane because Moi was going to kill us.
Waiting for you.
So we were kept in the plane until the plane took.
I'm imagining he didn't know that the authorities didn't know that you guys were there.
And then to London, and then to Pearson. So you can see the trip.
And
it
how
took
are you
a long
feeling
time.
When your plane lands in JKIA? Are you afraid at all?
No. Of course not. I've never been afraid of anything.
Okay.
I've always been prepared.
So nothing scares you?
No. Nothing scared me. Nothing scared me at all.
There's a guy...
because, it is what it is. Yeah.
Even to date, nothing scares you?
Nothing scares me.
That's interesting. There's
I'm ready for anything, anytime. You wake me up at 3 o'clock, I'm ready.
I'm going to tell my producer to put up a picture of
I've always been ready, I can tell you that.
Do you know? You probably
because
know Ferdinand
I've processed it.
Okay.
Yeah. You see, in life, the thing that keeps us behind more than anything else, not poverty, not lack of education, not unemployment, is fear.
Yeah.
That's really what keeps you behind more than anything else. Fear of the unknown, fear of harm, fear of someone else, fear of the environment, fear of so many things. Once you get past fear, then there is nothing that surprises you. And nothing can stop you.
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing. Yeah. So what I tell people, get rid of fear.
Yeah.
Yeah, this fear. It is why we are where we are, even in Kenya today. Fear.
People are
Otherwise,
afraid.
we would have gotten rid of the government and things would have changed. But the majority of you are so fearful And sometimes I wonder why. You're going to die. So come to terms with the fact that everybody is going to die. But you don't know how you are going to die.
You may want to elongate your life a little bit.
No. You don't know when you're going to die. So you can't elongate something you don't know.
But you can try avoid it. I mean...
You can't. You know, death is inevitable.
Now, I'm going to give an instance.
No, wait.
Okay.
Death is inevitable.
Yeah.
And the timing of your death is also inevitable.
Yes.
So you don't know when you're going to die. You don't know how you're going to die. So how can you extend it? You can't extend your life beyond that which it was meant to be. So you have to accept that.
Yes.
Once you resolve that thing in you, then you have to understand, whatever I do, when I was supposed to die, I will die.
Okay.
How I was supposed to die, I will die that way. You saw the woman in Minneapolis. She was very peaceful. She was very compliant. She had a good attitude. She's driving her car. And the guy decides to kill her. She never thought that she was going to die that way. And in fact, if you listen to the way they were talking, they didn't thought there was anything going to happen. But it happened.
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead.
I mean, I was just going to give a credit to how far you've come, of course.
Yeah.
And I was going to say that you can extend your life. For instance, you knew that if you continued staying in Kenya, for instance, at that time, Moi would have killed you. And you decided to...
No, I was not sure that Moi would have killed me.
Okay.
And that's not the reason why I left. Yeah. So you should have asked, why did I leave? I didn't leave because of fear of death.
Okay. Why did you leave?
I left because of many reasons, but I'll give you a few that are more significant and relevant. So Moi decided that he was abducting us, and he did. 5 of us, student leaders. And he detained us at Nyayo House for 14 days. And we didn't know where we were. Because when you are detained, he blindfolds you, and his people take you wherever they are, and then they torture you there for 14 days. So while I was there, you see, because when we are young, and you are young people, you have dreams, you have ambitions, you have aspirations, and no one thinks and expects and hopes and looks forward to being abducted and detained.
Yeah.
So once this happens, you know something drastic has happened to your life, and it's probably going to be changed permanently. So as a thinking being, you start factoring in things. And I did. I said, okay, so assuming this guy does not kill me and releases me and expels me from the university, what am I going to do? I actually did that. I always debate. I plan things just, so that I know what I'm going to do. What do I do?
Yeah.
So I resolve at that point, I will not let him catch me again. So that I decided. If this man makes a mistake of releasing me, I said that actually, then he will not catch me again. And so if he doesn't catch me again and is the president and there is one party and he's all powerful, so what do I do? Right? So I decided when I was still in detention, I will flee into exile. So I made that decision. If I flee into exile, where will I go? I'm debating this. I'm still in detention.
Yeah.
I look at what has happened in Uganda, because you have to flee to the next country. They had already taken my passport away. So just to give you a strong... I'm doing great summaries, right?
Yeah.
So I joined the university in 1986 before many of you were conceived. I became a student leader at the end of that year for Kisumu district. And then I was elected into SONU the following year in 1987. Then I was invited to attend International Union of Students conference in Havana, Cuba. that year, and we were supposed to go 2 people. Myself and a gentleman called Munoru Nderi.
Yes.
Munoru Nderi is somewhere in Toronto, but I don't know where. We lost contact.
Muneru, you said?
Munoru.
Munoru, man.
Nderi.
Munoru, wherever you are, reach out.
Yes. So, the government decided, we applied for a passport, we went for an interview at Nyayo House, and on the day we were supposed to pick up our passport, they kidnapped us, literally, in the elevator. And they took us to an interrogation room. And they're asking us, why are we going to Cuba? And I'm saying, look, I've been invited to go to a conference as the representative of the student organization of Nairobi University for just a few days. And they say, well, you're not a boxer. Only boxers go to Cuba. I say, we are not going to do boxing. We are going for a student conference. And they made accusations about communism and whatnot. And I say, where does that come from? Anyway, the long and short of it is that the passport they had already issued and we were supposed to pick up, they withdrew. So this thing about the passport has always been there from 1987.
Yes.
Okay, so they took back my passport.
It's nothing new.
No,
You're used to your passport being taken care of.
And they know this is why the court was laughing at them. So they withdrew our passport and they told us we cannot go. And then, barely a week later, they abducted us.
So the
Munoru
second
was also
abduction
abducted.
now.
Yeah, this one they released us after interrogation. So they thought because they had taken back the passport, we would stop doing what we were doing.
Yeah.
But because we had been elected student leaders, we continued with our work. We addressed students, we did things within the university. So, in any event, they now abducted us. And when they released us 14 days later, they took us to the university and the whole place was deserted. The students had gone on protest after we were arrested. And there was a conflict between the students and the security. And
The security
many
are
students
cops?
were...
The cops are the security, right?
The NIS, the cops and whatnot. Many students were raped, were assaulted. The student was indefinitely closed. And they chased away all the students. So we were going into a university which is vacant. So I go to my room, they took me there, and there's nothing. My things have been taken. I don't know who took them. And they take me to Akamba bus station. At the time, most of the long-distance vehicles were Akamba.
Yeah.
So they put me in the bus to Kisumu.
They say back to sender.
Yeah, I don't know where the other guys went, but yeah. So I arrive in the morning.
Yeah.
And I look at the newspaper. And our pictures were there in the headline. That the university has expelled 43 students and that we, the ones they abducted before the protest, are the ones who led the riots. So I was supposed to have led riots from Nyayo House.
Yes, through proxy.
And that's a story they have told throughout. So you've had, for example, they have been saying, I became a Canadian citizen in 1988 and I was in Kenya. But that's what they're saying out there and people believe it.
Yeah.
So I had not left Kenya. I left Kenya in December 1988. No.
June.
December 1987.
Okay.
And I came here in June 25th, 1988.
Yeah.
So when, between December 87 to June, I was between Tanzania and Swaziland.
Yes.
Under the United Nations Human Rights High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR. All right? So the long and short of it is that I planned these things, as I told you, in detention. So I knew that I would be leaving. I knew that I would not be going to Uganda. Museveni was president then.
Hey.
And when I came out, Moi had already said that Museveni was funding us and Gaddafi to take over power.
Okay.
So I thought, if I go to Uganda, I would be, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. I would be proving Moi right.
Yeah.
That, now they have run to the person who was funding
Their
them.
benefactor.
So I said I go to Tanzania, because Tanzania had previously, in 1982, returned private or senior private Ochuka and the people that he had fled with there back to Kenya, and they were hanged.
Yeah.
So my calculation was that they wouldn't make that mistake again, right? Because when they returned them, the understanding was that they were not going to be hanged, and they were hanged. And Nyerere was the president of Tanzania. So a few of us went to Tanzania. And that's how eventually we found our way here. Yeah. I don't know if I answered the question.
I think you did answer the question, of course, with elaboration. And I want to paint some context here, because you say that you are not fearful. I want to understand where this comes from. If you're to paint me a picture of young Miguna Miguna, what is the context in which you grow that makes the man that you are today, who is unafraid or not fearful?
Oh, that's a difficult question, because there are many, many, many things, but I try to summarize. So number one, I'm the last born in my family. That will become significant. And when I was born, my father died when my mother was pregnant. So when I was born, my father had died. That's why I'm Miguna Miguna. I'm named after my father. And at the time when I grew up, it could still be the same now. Women didn't have a lot of voice and didn't have a lot of access to resources, because the resources was vested on men, and men passed it over. And so when a woman is widowed, more often than not, your uncles took the property that your father had.
Yeah.
So when I was growing up as a kid, my mother had nothing. These people had taken everything from my mother. So I was very pained. And you know, if you're the last born, in my culture, you're closest to your mother. It's called chogo. Chogo is almost like the bone, the last bone. Okay?
Yeah.
So you are very close to your mother. And so on a daily basis growing up, I had all the grievances. My mother would tell me all the things that have happened. So I grew up. When I say I'm a revolutionary, people don't understand the context. I literally grew up a revolutionary. I literally grew up someone looking to bring justice to what my mother had gone through throughout my life.
Yeah.
I looked for the structural problems that had resulted in what to me was unjust. So that's how I grew up. And that attracted me to certain literature, to certain philosophies, to certain historical characters that I saw were trying to rectify the wrong. So this was not theoretical. When I grew up, I was not subscribing to Castro's Cuban Revolution of 1959. No.
Yeah.
I was not interested in Marx or Lenin. No, this came later.
Yeah.
I was living it. I didn't need anybody to convince me that the world was unfair and unjust and that something needed to be done to rectify what I was seeing. And because of that, I have not had the same life that you've had. I didn't go to the same schools, for example. I didn't have the same opportunities that most people had. And when those opportunities presented themselves, the conditions were not the same. For instance, when I went to school, I didn't have tuition.
This
I
primary
literally
school?
secondary school.
Okay.
Primary school, you didn't have to pay.
Okay.
But I can tell you that I finished secondary school because I was a good student, so I was allowed to finish
Without paying
by the school
fees.
administration without paying. Okay? That's how I ended up doing the exam. And the same thing happened again in A-levels. They allowed me to do the exam. And I only paid the balance when I was here in Canada.
Your high school balance?
My high school. That's when I got my certificate for high school.
Which schools are this that you went to?
This is Njiris.
Okay.
Njiris High School in Moranga.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you that I paid the balance of my tuition when I was right here in Toronto.
And you paid only because you needed the certificate? Not because
I don't think I needed the certificate because I was already at... I paid after I think I'd graduated from the University of Toronto. Yeah. So I didn't need the certificate.
So you're just convicted that you owe a balance that you needed to pay?
I don't know why I paid, but I did. I didn't rationalize at the time the reasons why I'm paying.
Yeah.
I could probably maybe I needed the certificate, but I didn't think about it at that time that way. I've never really thought about it. Why did I pay? But I did. So partly because I was also in conversation with someone who used to be the deputy principal of the school and was now the principal, and then he told me that we still have your certificate. So I decided, you know what? I pay that balance and I get my certificate.
Yeah. And then at what point then are you meeting Karl Marx, Lenin, Castro?
This one now, high school.
Okay.
Yes. Actually, the first encounter with radical politics was basically secondary school. You know, Onjiko Secondary School.
Yeah.
And before then, and this will also be a surprise to a lot of people, music. You know, people don't pay attention to music, poetry, right? There was a musician in Kenya called Owino Jasirati, Mwalimu Owino Jasirati. He played mainly Benga Luo music. And my brother had a gramophone. You know, this music, the thing that you play. We didn't use cassettes at the time. Cassettes came later. You had a record player.
Yeah.
With what is that thing called?
I call it a record. Vinyl.
Vinyl.
Record. Yeah.
So you put it there and you can hear what is going on. So Owino Jasirati used to play, his music was always commentaries, social commentaries, political commentaries of how the world is, what is happening around us, what is wrong, how it should be fixed, and things like that. So that was actually my introduction to politics.
Yeah.
It was through music. It wasn't a political rally or some politician.
Yeah.
Then the second introduction, this is primary school, are politicians such as Koigi Wawamwere. Believe it or not, he was an MP when I was in primary school.
Oh, so you also have that context.
Orengo was an MP when I was in Form 1.
Huh?
James Orengo. I'm not as old as you think.
How old is Orengo?
I'm not as old as they are, but I've been around.
Yeah.
Because I've been active throughout, people think I'm the same age as them. But it's not true. I've just been active since I was a student. But anyway, Orengo was an MP when I was in Form 1. Onyango Medika used to be our member of parliament in Nyando. And George Anyona used to be an MP of Kitutu East. Or no, Kitutu Masaba. Kitutu Masaba. And who else? Mwanchofi Mwanshengu Mwanchofi, and there was a guy called Sefona, Lawrence Sefona.
Any relation to the current Sefona?
No relationship to the current Sefona. These are the people, and later on Chelagat Mutai, who was the youngest MP.
Mm-hmm.
These are the people, because radio, there used to be live broadcast of parliamentary debates. And sometimes you hear the bulletin, the news. These are the people that introduced me to politics because I was following what they were saying in primary school. Okay? And when I went to secondary school, then I got introduced to Ngugi.
Yeah.
Ngugi wa Thiong'o. And the others. But these are the basic, the most fundamental people and things that made me conscious as a political being, as a human being, and made me understand the issues and my interaction with them as to where is my place in this environment that these people are talking about.
Yeah.
So I hope I've answered the question.
You did answer the question,
Yeah.
and I like the way that you go into detail. And of course, we're going to come back into politics probably, but I want us to talk about your Canada. I mean, the audience here is Canadian, and I want to understand how Canada molds you and shapes you.
Are you sure they're Canadian?
Well, they are in Canada, and I'll call them Canadian, but it's
Not without a hyphen.
Okay. Or Canadian, Kenyan, Canadian, Zambian Canadian,
Or
Rwandese
African Canadian, or whatever Canadian. I'm not sure who a Canadian without a hyphen is. I've not met one. But
true.
anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. That's a very deep statement, actually. When you think
Maybe
about
the
it.
natives.
Only the natives
But they
would
don't
be.
consider themselves Canadians.
Yeah.
They don't recognize Canada.
That's a complex,
Yeah.
rationale to even think about.
What is Canada? We don't want to get to that, but that is a question.
So I think Canada has been fair for you. I've been calculating the time you've been here, man. It's probably about 37, 38 years or something like that. And
On and off.
yeah, I mean,
You're saying Canada has been fair to me?
I would imagine that.
I don't know.
Yeah,
It depends on what you call fair.
Okay. But you seem to have made a good living here. You made a name for yourself. You've developed yourself academically, financially. I guess you also have gotten a family, and you have a family that thrives here, and you probably have ambitions dreams and ambitions that you've been able to achieve across your lifespan. And I think we've got to give Canada a little bit of credit to Canada for making some of this possible, part of this possible. So
is that a question, or that's
that
your
is an
judgment
assumption.
of the situation?
That is my assumption. But you could
But you
clarify.
see, we cannot extrapolate what happens in our life to somebody else.
Okay.
I would have to speak for myself,
Okay.
right? And I will. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, so I want you to paint that for me. You paint me a picture of what Canada has been like for you. I mean, the travels that you've gone through. I know I've been to your office and I see your accolades up on the wall. And so, what has that been like, for you?
So
And
let
just to
me
give
start
context-
at the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah, but go ahead.
The reason why I'm asking this is because there are many people here who are hoping to become like you at some point.
No problem.
Yeah, and maybe they might not necessarily follow your journey, but understanding what
Everybody
journey
has
you
a journey.
followed, that could be helpful.
Everybody has a unique journey. But so let me tell you this, because I don't think a lot of people know this, before I come to your question. I came to Canada by accident, not by design.
Okay.
You see, when I left Kenya, it was by design. I left Kenya, I went to Tanzania. Once I was in Tanzania, I knew what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go. It was not Canada.
Yeah.
In fact, Canada did not even appear in my mind. I never thought about it. And I actually did not want to come to Canada. Okay? So when we left Kenya, the idea was we wanted to remove Moi from power. That was the reason. We are young men. We are very angry at what he has done. We want to organize so that we can remove him from power. Okay? We were a bit naive, but that is what we thought we wanted to do. So luckily, I had the stationery of all the our SONU organization, and I had the typewriter. I kept them. I used to be the managing editor of the student newspaper. So I had them. And when I was released, I found that one of my friends who used to be with me at Onjiko Secondary School was the one who had taken my things to his home. So I was able to collect these things. Okay? So the first order of business was to write to organizations that I knew would be able to assist us, okay? Including the UNHCR. So I wrote these letters, and by the time I crossed the border, my sisters literally walked us across the border on foot.
Is this Namanga border? Oh, okay.
Migori, there is Meuru Bay. There is a boundary there.
Yeah.
So we crossed literally on foot, 8 hours walking.
From your home to wherever, to the border?
No. Okay. My home is in Kisumu. We had to board the buses all the way to Migori, then we go to the border and whatnot. But anyway, so we cross and we go to the authorities in Tanzania and we ask that we are seeking asylum. And the following day, I mail my letters. And we are able to be interviewed by the UNHCR, and they give us temporary asylum. And we tell them we want to go to Zimbabwe. Okay, so that was the idea. The idea was not to stay in Tanzania. The idea was to go to Zimbabwe. Mugabe at the time had just taken power in Zimbabwe and was the most progressive African leader
at the time. Yeah.
And there were a lot of Kenyans that had fled from the one-party dictatorship in Kenya to Zimbabwe. So people like Michere Mugo and others.
Even Raila's sister, I think, as well was there?
No, that was much later.
Okay.
Raila's sister did not go into exile.
Oh.
Raila's sister was married in Zimbabwe
by
Edgar Tekere, who was a minister of Mugabe. So, the UN told us no. They can't take us to Zimbabwe. So then we said, okay, so what is up? They say you have two choices. They're telling us this in Tanzania. You have two choices. You either go to Canada or you go to Australia. So then we say, okay, we need a day to think. So we went, took out the map, looked, compared the distance between Nairobi and Australia. We looked at Kenya and Canada, and we say, wow. So if these are the only choices we have, in fact, in between, we even walked to a Mennonite church. We thought they could smuggle us to Zimbabwe, but they refused to.
Yeah.
So we thought at the time that the distance between Canada and Kenya was shorter than between Australia and Kenya. That was actually how we ended up here. So we all decided, you know what, we are going to Canada instead of Australia. And we went and filled the forms and chose Canada. That's how. How did I end up here? So then these people decided, okay, within a week, they have already given us UN passports and taken us to Swaziland.
Yeah.
Because the Kenyan, Moi wanted to smuggle us back. And the UN was fearful that the Tanzanian authorities could probably do that deal. So they took us to Swaziland. And for people who can read, or those who were there at the time, maybe none here, Kenya actually took a Swazi plane and detained in Kenya with all the crew because they wanted us returned. And they wanted to exchange us with these people. That's how we were hurried out now to wherever we were going.
Yeah.
but how we ended up here is that while we were in Swaziland, we were 5, and we disagreed on what now to do. How do we prosecute our revolution? 2 of us decided that we needed a bit of time before we tell anybody what we wanted to do. And the others, actually we were 6. Because 4 of them, one joined us later, so we became 6.
Yeah.
4 of them decided they were going to address a press conference and say that they were going to march onto Nairobi from Swaziland.
Okay.
I was not among the 4, I was among the 2.
Who said we need some time?
So I woke up and I found them in the headline in Swaziland. And the UN was not happy. So the UN called us into a meeting and gave us the Riot Act. And so the 2 of us who had not joined the gang were brought to Toronto. And 2 of the others were taken to Vancouver, and 2 of the others were taken to Edmonton. I don't know whether this factored in, but we ended up the way we came. So Gakiri, I think you've heard of Peter Gakiri?
Yeah.
Him and I, we were brought here.
Are you still
Peter
in touch?
Gakiri is also a lawyer.
Yeah.
He's in London, Ontario. So that's how we ended up here.
Yeah.
Did I really answer the question?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to answer the part of the question, which is, how Canada has been fair or unfair to you.
Oh, how Canada has been fair.
Yeah, but I have something to dig here a little bit.
So I told you I was welcomed.
Yeah.
And where we ended up. So the following day, Canada as a country, I'm not sure. But yes, the fact that Canada brought me here as a government-sponsored refugee initially looked like a favor, because they told us we were going to go and continue with our education and whatever. But when we arrived, we realized that was not true. And that's why I'm going to tell you why it is not as you think.
Yeah.
So the following day was a Monday. And I went to the University of Toronto by myself and told them I wanted admission. So I went to the registrar the very following day. And they told me I couldn't see the registrar. So I said, I have to see somebody. And they say, well, people are busy, the registrar is not here. I say, whoever is here will see. So I can wait. They say, it will take a bit of time. I say, I will wait. So I waited. And I saw the deputy registrar. I don't accept no for an answer when I want something. And I know I'm entitled to it. So I met the guy and I told him, look, I want admission. And this is the story. So I told him the story, the short version. And he admitted me on the spot.
To study
on
what?
Condition that I'm able to give him this or that and that, which I was able to do.
What are you admitted to study?
Political science and philosophy.
Okay. At this time, you already are a lawyer? Or
No. I was a student, my friend. I had barely been in second year, I told you. Moi detained me when I was just getting to second year. I had not even warmed the seat.
Yeah.
I got into second year in September, and in November he's kicked me out.
Yeah.
So I had not finished second year. So I was an undergraduate, very green, very young, with a lot of energy. So, and that is not how people get admitted to university. You have to apply to the Ontario University Centre.
Yes.
And this is June. Everybody has been admitted already. So he was able to circumvent the process for me. I was very happy for that.
Yeah, you must have convinced him somehow.
I did. And he was very nice to me afterwards. In fact, he was able to admit for me other students after that, on the basis of what I say. Because I went there and aced it. In 1.5 years, I'd graduated and I was in Osgood.
Huh?
So, yes.
1.5 years.
One and a half years, I got a degree.
And that's a 4-year program.
Yes.
Okay.
So I got my degree in 1.5 years.
But how are you paying your school fees, though?
I just worked and paid.
Okay.
So this is why I'm saying it's a mixed bag. Because we had a social worker who then was meeting us for stipends. And I went to see the social worker. The first time, things went okay. I went back. Then the second week, I moved out of where they put me. I found an apartment. I left Gakiri there. And then I looked for a job. I was in a hurry. Mm-hmm. Okay? So then when I went for my second meeting, the worker was not happy with me.
Because you
I could tell from the time I arrived, she was not happy. So I asked her, what is the problem? And she gave me a long lecture. Who told me that I can go to university? So I told her, nobody needs to tell me that. I decide what to do. I told her, this is what brought me to this country. Otherwise, I would not be here. She said, no, you didn't come here to go to university. You came here as a new worker. I'm supposed to be working in the factories. Mm-hmm. So I told him, really? But how do you know that I'm going to the University of Nairobi? Then she opens the drawer and takes out my letter. Because I didn't have an address, I used her address. I used the social worker's address when I went to the registrars. Mm-hmm. So, and I tell her, who gave you permission to open my letter? The letter obviously is mine. Yeah. You know, even though I was not a lawyer, but I knew my rights. Yeah. So I told her, look, you had no right to open my letter. And she told me, no, I'm not allowed to go to the university. I have to work for 1 year before I go to the university. So I told her, really? And that is your decision? And you've made it? And now you're just telling me? And you're telling me I cannot say anything about it? Thank you very much, but no thanks. I walked out of that room and never went back. Mm-hmm. And I'm here. Yeah. So that was not fair, right? Yeah. Then, of course, after I graduated from UFT, very nice treatment from UFT. I would get occasional grants. The teachers were very supportive. They almost stopped me from graduating because they did not believe, just like what you were saying, how could you have graduated? The school told me the same, the registrar. Mm-hmm. And I say, yeah, I have the grades, I have the credits. They say, oh, you couldn't have gotten the credits. So then I had to go to every teacher that had taught me to sign that I did get the credits. Yeah. So they did, and I graduated. And how did I end up in Osgood? Mm-hmm. I was sick and tired of Canada by this time. There was a lot of racism, actually. So my friend was right, who was sitting next to me here. You are right. They used sometimes to meet me in the subway and say, go back to Africa and things like that. So I was not happy. So at this time, I want to go away for graduate studies. Mm-hmm. So I got admission to Cambridge. I got some scholarship, but not full, and wanted to go away from Canada. And then one of the teachers, the professors at UFT, invited me to his house after he had written me the recommendation and for lunch over the weekend. He used to be called Professor Ebo Achful. He was a Ghanaian. I think now he's in the US. He must have retired. So he told me, Miguna, what are you doing? He was also upset.
Because of the steps that you're taking.
Why do you think that you want to go and become a teacher? Because, you know, you go get your PhD, you become a teacher, right? Mm-hmm. So I say, yeah, I want to become like you. I want to become like you. Yeah. Hey, me? Mm-hmm. You think this is great? I'm doing very well? I say, yeah.
You seem like...
You have a house? You drive a nice car? I like you. You teach well. You must be getting paid very well. I want to be exactly like you. Yeah. And because I have the grades, I think I can become like... You say, no. Listen to me. I'm really reproducing exactly what happened.
Yeah.
He said, listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to become like me. Why don't you go to law school? You can become a lawyer. You can still go to university later on, and you can end up teaching if you want. But I want you to go to law school. See, I never thought of that. I had thought of it, of course, before, but not now. And he said, yeah, that's what I want you to do. You have to do the LSAT and you will make it. I want you to go to law school. So at that time, this is before graduation.
Yeah.
During that period as I was preparing, right?
Yeah, walking around to get the signatures.
At that time, there was a student in my class, an Indian student, Indian Canadian, who was trying to go to law school and was paying me by the side to prepare for the LSAT. Okay, so I was getting paid a little bit. We go to the library.
Yeah.
She has these LSAT questions, and we read them, and I coach
Basically
a little
coaching,
bit.
yeah.
And she would pay me. She had a bit of money. And they were easy questions. I thought they were easy. So then she tells me, you can do this thing. I'm going to do it, but you're good at this thing. Go and do it. So I didn't have money. I didn't even know how to apply.
Yeah.
Luckily, I had a girlfriend who was a Canadian. So one of the days I told her that everybody's telling me to do the LSAT. I don't know what it is. I have been coaching these students, so that's all I know, but I don't know how to apply because I didn't know how to apply. And there was no internet, okay? So you can't get that information easily. And I don't have the money. So she's the one who actually applied for LSAT for me and paid. She had a credit card.
Hey.
I had never had a credit card. So she paid it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I ended up doing it. But when the form came and I had to choose the center for me to do the exam, this just to tell you, this is a nice story.
Yeah.
So they had Victoria, Queens, UFT, whatnot. And because I was taking the subway system, I thought this exam was being done in this subway system. Victoria, Queens, Kingston, I don't know what. So I chose Victoria.
Yeah.
I chose things that were not in Toronto because I thought they were closer to me. But because I was thinking of the subway system.
So Victoria is Victoria, BC?
No, I thought it was Victoria. Yeah, it was BC.
So you selected
Victoria here in
on the subway.
And Queens, I thought it was the Queen stop.
Yeah.
That you just come
Queen's
out of there, there will be a place there to do the exam.
I bet it's Kingston. Queens in Kingston.
So I ended up doing this exam in Kingston.
Oh.
Because that was the closest I chose. Everything else I chose was outside the GTA.
Hey, but Miguna, at this point, you've been here for almost 2 years. My understanding is that you've been,
I'm not doing anything except going to school.
Okay.
I wake up, there's no internet, there's no computer, there's no internet.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to type something, you have to go to the lab.
Like a computer lab.
The computer lab, okay? And I didn't know how to type, right? I knew how to use the typewriter, but not the computer. So I was doing most of the things we were doing longhand.
Mm-hmm.
So hear this. So now I realize I'm supposed to go to Kingston. Remember, I couldn't pay.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody in Kingston. This exam is being done first thing in the morning. It's winter. We are the last batch. I'm doing this as the last batch because this thought just came. My teacher is bugging me here. This student is telling me I'm good at this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So my girlfriend, had a sister at graduate school in Queens. So she took me there over there. So those are the good things about Canada, right?
Yeah.
Overnight, and in the morning, I did the exam. And I ended up at Osgood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So in a way, yes, it's a mixed bag. The lady The social worker was not good. And later on, after I finished, I'll tell you another one, another anecdote, very important.
Mm-hmm.
When I graduated from UFT, and I knew I was going to law school, but I needed a job, I thought, what am I going to do? And you need income. And I told you that I was working and going to school, so I was paying for my tuition. Okay? So I couldn't stay without working. You had to work.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can't. I ran away from the welfare office, right? So you can't go back there. I told them I'm not coming back. So now I have to say, okay, so what do I do in the interim before I go to law school? I need money. And I can't get LSAT because what that woman was telling me about that 1 year was so that I could qualify for LSAT. If you come to this country and you do not stay for 1 year, you can't qualify for LSAT. So I was not qualified for LSAT. So I couldn't go to school on LSAT. No, not LSAT, sorry.
OSAP, you mean?
OSAP,
yeah, I was wondering.
OSAP,
yeah.
OSAP.
Mm-hmm.
So now I said, okay, so what I will do, this is why the brain is a very important thing.
Mm-hmm.
The only important thing you have in your body is your brain.
Okay. Some people would disagree, but
they can disagree all they want. Even if you don't have your legs, even if you don't have your arms, even if you don't have your eyes, but the brain is working, you will find a way.
Yeah.
Because the brain will analyze and find solutions to your problems. Mm-hmm. So keep your brain intact and working.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? I'm going to apply for a full-time job. My grades are excellent, so I will get a job. And at the time, a lot of work, there were tests, written tests, and I knew I would not fail a written test. Fortunately, that has been the advantage I've had in life, is that I can fail many things, but a written test I will not fail.
Yeah.
Okay, so always I ask for the written test. So I said, okay, I'm going to be a welfare worker because I know there's a written test. So I went for the written test and aced it. So I became a welfare worker.
Yeah.
But I lied during the interview because you have to say you are getting this as a full-time permanent job, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, how are you going to say, I'm only doing this for 6 months and then I go to law school in September, right?
Yeah.
So I said, yes, I want to settle down. I want to settle down. I want a permanent job full-time.
Yeah.
I got the job, went for the training, was posted. I went and worked. And then the last day we have to accept our admission in law school, I went to my supervisor.
Yeah.
And explained to her my situation. I told her, I lied. I said, I just got admitted to law school. And so I've been thinking about this thing, and I decided, you know what, between law school and this job, I'm better off going to law school. So I need time to go and accept my admission. And she refused.
Oh.
So I walked out of this job too.
So in order to accept admission at that time, you had to physically walk to the school.
Yeah. You have to physically go to the school and accept the admission and pay
some fee.
There's some small fee. I don't know whether it was $20, $25, whatever. You have to pay it.
Yeah.
And she said no. And then I said, this is not good. How can you say no? You know? I could have just said I'm sick, but I came to you.
At least you are truthful in a way. I mean, obscure truth. How can you tell someone, I just got admitted to law school? I mean,
she was very mad at me. Yeah, that I had wasted their time for the training and whatnot. Anyway, so those are aspects of Canada which were not positive.
Yeah.
And she ended up banning me from working for the city because I left early. So later on, when I was in law school and we were hired as prosecutors for the city to do highway traffic, just traffic tickets.
Yes. Oh, so those guys are those students? The guys who
A lot of them are students.
Oh.
So I went there to work, and then the day that they paid me after 2 weeks, they told me I couldn't work because I was
You've been banned.
So that's why I'm saying, you see, the experience cannot be the way you thought. Canada has been fair.
Yeah.
And then when I was in law school, they wrote to me that I had to pay for the fare that brought me from Swaziland to Kenya, that it was a loan.
Oh, from Swaziland to Toronto, you mean?
To Toronto, yes.
Yeah.
And nobody told us. So you see, when you look in total of how the society works, this is what I came out of that. I said, first, even though they looked like they were sympathetic to us, they wanted cheap labor from Africa. They wanted people to come here and to join cheap labor. You are a laborer. How dare you want to go to university? How dare you think you can be a lawyer? How dare you think you can be like any other Canadian? And throughout my stay here, I have found that the higher you climb, the more vicious they become.
Yeah.
They are always unhappy when you want to go higher. So when you want to knock doors that no black person in their estimation had knocked, or that they think you should not knock, they will be very mad at you. You get that as a lawyer when you litigate in the courts, particularly at the beginning, that some judges may not even want to see a black lawyer at the beginning. Because remember, when I was a lawyer here at the beginning, I was the only Kenyan lawyer. And there were very few African lawyers. So there were judges who were very mad at that. Okay?
Yeah.
And there are people who don't even want you to wear the gown. They don't think you should. Okay? And I think that maybe other people have experienced the same. It may not be exactly the same experience. It varies, but you have to be aware that not everyone wants you to succeed. Not at the rate at which you want to succeed, not in the manner that you think you should succeed, and that you should not take it for granted that everyone thinks you are a full human being. Even the ones with the best of intentions. I've found a few who are genuine. In UFT, for example, I had 2 white teachers that were just genuinely had no racism in their body and in their mind. And they were supporting me. I told you about I had to go around and get signatures.
Yeah.
One signed without reading. What do you want me to sign? They are saying what?
Yeah.
She didn't read. Yeah, she was called Professor Esbury. She said, what are they saying? You said what?
Yeah.
So you get that. But that's not the majority. You always want to be careful. I tell my children, because unlike me, now I know. You see, when you come to this society, with the image white people have in our continent, you are expecting goodwill and everybody is honest. No. Don't be deceived. Do not reveal your plans to anyone unless you are 100% convinced that that person is not envious, is not jealous, has no malice, and is 100% have good faith. Because sometimes it's too expensive, too costly to learn that after the fact. like I did with the ladies that I told you banned me for no reason, right?
Yeah.
They were supposed to be supportive. They were supposed to explain this thing. They were supposed to be empathetic, but they were vindictive. And they were supposed to be able to understand where you are coming from, the context, your background, what drives you. Why are you in a hurry? You know, I had problems with Kenyans who thought I was too much in a hurry when we came here and we lived somewhere as a group of people, and I was always running, I was always studying, doing things. And they say, what's wrong with you, my friend? You're always in a hurry. You know, we came here before you, and you think you can just come and... I say, my friend, yes, you came here before me, but we all have different agendas. I have my agenda, you have yours. I'm not interfering with yours. Let me do mine. Yeah. So I don't drink. I've never drunk. I've never tasted alcohol. Okay? I don't smoke. So why should I sit there watching you drink? I don't drink. Why should I accompany you to a bar or to a social place where you are going to drink? And I don't drink, and I don't enjoy it. And I don't enjoy the environment. So if what I enjoy is reading, let me read.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it, right?
Yeah.
If I enjoy discussing things like what we are doing now, that's normal, right?
Yeah.
But people take offense. There are people who even took offense that I bought a house outside GTA. So I say, how does that affect you? That, oh, you moved away from us. So I say, my friend, what's the distance between Kenya and Canada, Toronto? And then between you and where I have moved, who says the distance have to be measured between Nairobi and where you live and not where I live? So that we have to say, I'm supposed to be close to you. To do what? You see, we can be close together if we're doing something in common, or if we have a plan.
Yeah.
Or there is a strategy. Maybe we want to buy the entire neighborhood. So that's a strategy. We want to buy houses in the same neighborhood, then we live there together as a community. That's positive. Maybe you want us to pool money together so that we can get a mortgage. And then we rotate, we do that. That's good if we are honest with one another, right?
Yeah.
But what is this thing that if you live in this neighborhood, I must live next to you? And that I'm the one who is not supposed to move out.
Yeah.
But you choose where to live. And I can't buy a house because I have to be loyal to you more than I'm loyal to myself.
Do you ever find that people who are, come from similar communities, so in this case, your people with the similar context as you, background as you, tend to pull each other behind?
Yes and no.
Okay.
You see, overgeneralization is also not good. Because within the same community, there are good people. And within the same community, there are bad people. Just like I said, the white people out there that are good ones, the only thing is that you have to find them. Okay? They are not the majority, but they're there. But the institutions are the bad ones because the institutions are governed in a way that is imperialistic. But come to the Kenyan community. The people who are trying to pull you down are those either have given up or have limited ambitions or have limited abilities and they want that transferred to you. Or are just envious or jealous. They don't want anybody doing better than them.
Yeah.
You see, all societies, marginalized societies that have done well, you have to pull your resources together to succeed. You have to stand on each other's shoulders and you have to support each other to be able to do well. If you are not going to get that, then you're better off on your own. Because the energy that you're going to use to, number one, emotionally deal with this distraction. Because it is. People telling you things that they know are not true, but are meant to distract you. People telling you things because they want to waste your time. People telling you things to discourage you. You see, you can never really know someone more than they know themselves, because you're not in their head. Yes, you may have an appreciation, especially if you are lucid, you are sane, you are logical, you are reasonable, and you're objective. Right?
Yeah.
So if you have this and you are analyzing it from that perspective, you may be able to understand somebody very well, but you may not understand their fears. Because, people have some fears they don't express, especially these people who don't talk that much. The fear just bolts up in them, and one day they're up, para, and they do something quite ridiculous.
Yeah.
So people like us who talk, it's good, because we have this steam. Okay?
You let it go.
We are able to air it out. The brain gets to get an exit point of relief. So yes, there are those who want to pull you down. And sometimes you don't realize that, as I said, until it's too late. There are things I've realized very late sometimes. I help people. Sometimes you even give people accommodation. You do. Then you realize, my goodness, this guy was always jealous. But by that time, it's irreconcilable. And it's unfortunate because you spend so much time, so much energy on this person that you never should have.
Yeah.
And the energy and resources you should have invested elsewhere, you wasted. But as I always try to rationalize when I'm challenged, oh, you wasted money on this person or that, I say, you know what? It's a learning process. How would I have known if I had not gone through this process?
Yeah.
Especially if the process is not costly in a way that you can reverse it. There are processes that are too costly. But if it is not costly, if it did not take you to jail, if it did not bankrupt you, if it did not make you insane, then you can always recover.
Yeah. Very interesting. I like the context that you've painted here, and I hope that the members of the audience here are, also appreciating this. And I'm opening this now up to you guys. You can also ask questions. You can just raise up your hand. A mic is going to be brought to you, and you can ask your question. But I want to paint something here as, folks are thinking of the question they want to ask. When you left Kenya to Eswatini, that entire journey to Eswatini, one of the things you said is that you wanted to remove Moi from power. And that's been very paramount. Moi eventually left power 15 years later, and I think that the distance that you were brought away from Kenya actually probably dulled your influence.
No, there was a second thing.
Okay.
So I'll tell you the second thing. And that's probably where I ended up here, and ended up being a lawyer. I also wanted to finish my education. You see, I had gone to the University of Nairobi. There are things I wanted to do with my life, and Moi had interrupted them. And I didn't want to give Moi power over me. So I said, Moi is not going to stop me being what I wanted to become. Moi is not going to stop me from getting a university degree. I actually was that's why I was so much in a hurry, is to prove Moi wrong.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends only went back to university after I had gone. Gakiri went after me. In fact, he became my student. He went to Osgood after I was already a lawyer. He joined me when I was in third year. He came to first year. So by the time he was coming out of Osgood, I was already a lawyer, and he became my articling student. But we were classmates at the University of Nairobi. So, you see, they did that. They listened to the naysayers. The naysayers were telling him, and he believed them. They tried with me and they failed. Here, university education means nothing if you are black. All that matters is money. So I told Gakiri, did you go to university because of money? Because I didn't.
Why did
we
you
passed
go?
exams and we went to university. Because it was a learning process. We just went to university. We were not thinking about money when we went to university. I'm telling you the truth. We were not thinking about money. Money was not the reason why we went to university.
But didn't you
We
have an
went
idea
to
that you
learn.
will have a better life? Didn't you have that in the back of your mind
No,
somewhere?
but you see, that naturally will happen. Why do you have to worry about that? You know, if you go to university, you will get a good job. So that's a natural progression of life. It's almost like saying, you're a boy. Don't you know when you become an adult, you will get a woman and you will marry? But do you sit down to worry about that? Do you think about that really as a young man? You don't think about that.
Yeah.
It's like a right. You think, yes, I will get a girl. We will agree and we will live together.
Yeah.
Then if God allows, you will have children. Is that something that you worry about? Just like a young girl. She thinks, even those that may not, I will get married, I will have children. I think we take it for granted, isn't it?
Yeah.
We did. I did. So in as much as we had plans and whatnot, and we thought, when I finish university, this is what I want to do, these are now long-term plans. But at the time at which I went to university, I went to learn.
Yeah.
And Moi stopped me. And I wanted to prove to him, he had no power to stop me. There are people I came with that did not do that. You know, my friend that I called his name at the beginning is one of them. And I'm sorry. They told him, you know, you need another degree to become a lawyer. He was already a third-year law student. So it was just a few months before he graduated, and he would have become a lawyer. These are people who went to Alliance and whatnot. So very brilliant, you know, young guys, right?
Yeah.
So when he comes here and these people tell him, you can't go to law school. You need another degree. He was upset. And he never did. He said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go back and study BA and whatnot before I can go back to law school. No, I'm a third-year law student. It's just a few months before I graduate. I know everything about law.
I think some of us do that.
And he refused completely. And he's never gone back to Kenya. Unfortunately. So Nderi, if you're out there, please go back to Kenya and get in touch. Because his family has been looking for him all over. They have been bugging me. They're looking for him, and they don't know where he is.
And I think that happens to
only
sometimes.
one bad case.
Yeah.
Only one bad result. I say bad because I don't think that you should allow Moi, because essentially Moi ruined him. Moi stopped him, right?
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, he's decided he's not going back to Kenya. And that's not good, because Moi had jailed him for 6 years before, because he had been involved. He was ahead of me by 3 years. When we went to university, he had already been there. He had been even expelled and readmitted. So this is somebody who has suffered. But these people, this is what has happened in Kenya. People's lives, people's future have been ruined in a way you can't recognize. Because of power, because of abuse of power.
Yeah.
And we have thousands and thousands of people that are exactly in that situation in Kenya. I know another friend of ours. In Sonu, he was also doing law. He had also gone to Alliance. And he was the secretary for education. So at the university, we had ministries. So he was Minister of Education. He went to London. And again, the same thing. He's also never gone back to Kenya. He's ruined completely. There are many, and there are those who died. We had a guy here called Muhoro who died here and was buried here. And so through this tyranny, we've had many, many deaths and many destructions of lives. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I've been listening to you here, and especially this bit that you've shared, and I think there's many people also share, a similar story here, pain in terms of coming here, immigrating somewhere, and then never progressing to a point where they feels either successful enough or willing enough to go, to go visit back home.
It's not all roses. This place can ruin you. You have to be very mentally strong to survive this place.
Yeah.
And that is why you should never lose touch with your community, because you need the support, the positive ones, not the negative ones.
Yeah.
The positive ones. And whatever social safety net that you have.
Yeah.
But never cut yourself out from your country, your community, your social and cultural milieu. That's where you should be able to draw strength.
Yeah.
It's very, very important. Because you see, you need the mental strength to be able to navigate the maze that we have here. This is a maze. Understanding the society is very difficult, leave alone succeeding in it. And then you have to identify things that God gave you the abilities to deal with.
Yeah.
Don't do things because Miguna did them or because Job Ogato did them. Don't do nothing because they say nothing is where you get employment. Do that which you are capable of doing, like God gave you the ability to mentally understand and progress in, and that you have a drive towards. Like, you have to do something you like. Don't do something just because it is a job. At some point, when I was going to the University of Toronto, and even when I went to Osgood, there are things I did because I had to earn in order to pay my tuition. But you see, the idea was, I want to finish. I must graduate. Yeah. So whatever I was doing, I was not doing because I settled for them.
Yeah.
I cleaned toilets, happily cleaned.
Was that one of your first jobs?
No. This was like a third job. I worked in a factory where after work, the CEO of the company and his wife would, because they trusted me more than everybody else, I would go and clean their office and clean their toilet. I liked it because I would always get enough hours to be able to pay my tuition. And I did that job for a very long time when I was at UFT. Long time meaning that if you do something for a year, that's a very long time. And I also did telemarketing. So I did two jobs. I telemarketed, and then I did this. And that's how I was able to eat. That's how I was able to pay my tuition. That's how I was able to pay my apartment. Okay? So if you're doing something for a purpose to be able to get from point A to point B, do it.
Yeah.
But don't resign that is the only thing you can do. Yeah.
True. Now, let's then paint this picture here. You say that, you left Kenya to remove Moi from power. When we started this conversation here, you said people are afraid of removing the government of the day from power. And I think you've rallied a couple of years before, Uhuru should leave power and so on and so forth. And I'm just wondering, when someone just assumed that, your clamor for this guy to leave office is just for the sake of them leaving office, and then whoever else is going to come, you're still going to say that, this guy, so in case, whoever else comes into power next, you say, this guy should also leave power. No.
Because I knew that the discussion is not ad infinitum. It's not forever. We have a short period of time.
Yeah.
I summarized. That was not exactly it. It was removing Moi from power. And what does removing Moi from power mean? It meant ending the one-party rule.
Okay.
Kenya was under a de jure, not just a de facto, by law, one-party state. It was in the Constitution, Section 2A of the old Constitution, made Kenya a one-party state.
What is the need for one party? I've never understood. I've never wrapped my head around this. Why can't you just run? Why do you need a party?
No. So wait.
Okay.
There was a constitution, and there was a constitutional amendment
Yes.
in 1982 that declared Kenya a one-party state.
And did this one party have to be KANU, or it could be
Just
any other
wait,
party?
my friend. You're too
Okay.
impatient.
All right.
And this party happened to be KANU.
Yes.
And this KANU was headed by Moi. Okay?
Yes.
So Moi was a life president at the time.
Yes.
Like there was no time limit. He was going to be president for as long as he wanted or for as long as he lived. Because remember, Kenyatta died while president. He was president for 15 years and he died in power.
Yeah.
When Moi took power, the intention was that he stayed in power until he died. Now, young people like me with blood, very hot blood, and with the sense of justice, like I was saying, with the ideals that I was talking about, say, no. Who appointed you president? We didn't. Because he just assumed power because he was vice president.
Yeah.
We didn't elect him, and we don't want you. And you've messed up the country, and you're very corrupt, and you have people detained without trial, and you've banned other people from running. At the time that I was growing up, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga was banned from running for anything. He couldn't even run for MP or a councillor. And some of us say, no, this is not fair. If you don't want him in KANU, he must be allowed to form his political party. All right?
Yeah.
So when I said we wanted Moi out of power, it was a shorthand for the democratization of the country.
Yeah.
So that's what we wanted. And Moi, being at the pinnacle of power, once you remove him, this thing is dismantled, and we repeal the constitution, and we allow other people to form political parties. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
So when I came here, as I was telling you, and because I was summarizing, I didn't include other things.
Yeah.
We formed a movement here called what was the name of the movement? It escapes my mind. But I was the coordinator of the movement.
Yeah.
And we ran it until 1994. And Moi repealed the constitution eventually. We used to go to Ottawa and demonstrate. And we would bombard him in the media. We used to lobby foreign ambassadors, the Canadian government, foreign governments. And so that's what we did from here.
Okay.
Because we couldn't
Go.
do what I told you
Yes.
we wanted to do. We were told we couldn't go to Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
So if you can't go to Zimbabwe, how are you going to organize a military takeover from Toronto?
Did you actually want to organize a military takeover?
Oh, we were ready for it. Yeah, we wanted to. If we were allowed to go to Zimbabwe and we were allowed to do what we wanted to do, we could have.
Okay.
Yeah, we could have. What's happening there?
I don't know. Hillary's probably taking care of it. I mean, they can hear us.
It was called CDK.
CDK.
Yeah, Committee for Democracy in Kenya.
Okay. So do we have any question from the audience right now? The folks on X, you can also write your questions, and Hillary's going to share them with me, and then I'm going to ask them over here. But when now you say that the guy in office right now should leave power. Recently we had young people like the folks who are seated here demonstrating, and they wanted the guy in office to leave power. But if when you were fighting Moi to leave power, there was this whole idea of one party. But now there's some level of democracy going on. So when we say that he should leave power, then what are we looking for now?
I think it depends on what you understand democracy to be.
Okay.
I don't know what level of democracy we have in Kenya. And I'll tell you why I say that. You see, we have a constitution.
Yeah.
With a Bill of Rights.
Mm-hmm.
And this constitution gives citizens, actually Kenyans, whether citizens or non-citizens, as long as they are residents of the Republic of Kenya, fundamental rights. Freedom of expression, freedom of movement, freedom of association, freedom of conscience.
Yeah.
And other freedoms, okay? And these freedoms are guaranteed and protected by the Constitution.
Yes.
There is also freedom of accountability of those that govern, because sovereignty belongs and vests on the people, not on the governors or the leaders.
Yeah.
And in Kenya today, those freedoms are subverted by those in power. And I'll give you a few examples. You just gave me an example of Gen Zs demonstrating and protesting against Ruto and his administration because they brought the finance bill.
Yes.
2023, isn't it? Was it 2024 or 2023?
It was 2024.
2024.
Yes.
There was 2023 also. And many of them were abducted, tortured. Some of them were disappeared up to today.
Yeah.
Many of them were killed, murdered literally on the streets by the security forces. So one cannot argue that the freedom of assembly, the freedom of conscience, the freedom of expression, and the freedom to bring accountability to those that govern is real. Because there is nothing illegal that the Gen Zs were doing. They carried placards. Many of them just had this, water and the flag. That's all they had. And they were killed. They were murdered.
Yeah.
So to that extent, just on that point alone, one cannot argue that Kenya is a democratic state. But I'll go further. When Ruto was elected president, he campaigned. He unveiled a manifesto. He said what he wanted to do. I campaigned for him.
Yeah.
I told people to vote for him. I voted for him. You understand?
Yeah.
Voting for someone is not a license to do as you wish. You are given power to do what we elected you to do, not to do as you wish. So like today we are talking. I've given you what my, probably some vision, some core beliefs are, right?
Yeah.
So if today you appointed me into some position and said this is a Republic of Kenya, and I'm presiding over, this is now the population, and I do everything that contradicts everything that I've been saying here, that's a betrayal.
Yeah.
Because when you appointed me or elected me to leadership, you believed me. You are doing, what you are doing is saying, I want you to do what you said you are going to do. The moment you veer off from what I gave you the power to do, I cannot be with you. So anyone who understands democracy, who understands rights, will have to say, I disagree with you. This is not what I give you this job for. So, number 3, we gave him the position to be a trustee over our assets. our taxes, our land, our resources, and to take care of them as if we were taking care of them ourselves.
Yeah.
So you know that you cannot steal from yourself unless you're an idiot, right?
True.
You preserve
Yeah.
your assets and your resources and try to improve their value.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
What has he been doing? He's become a trillionaire in 3 years. If you look at the mansions he has all over the country and their value, if you look at the amount of private jets he takes all over the world without accountability, if you look at him and his cronies, the amount of money they have siphoned off from the treasury, if you look at the kind of taxes they have imposed on the people with no kind of return, no roads, no new rail, no schools, no universal health care, no employment, absolutely nothing to show for it. Then you ask yourself, we didn't tell you to take our money. We didn't give you power and authority to steal from us. We wanted you to protect our money and to enhance the value of our assets. He's selling all the public assets to his friends and to himself. He's turned Kenya into a complete banana republic. Okay?
Okay.
So when you add abductions, when you look at the plunder, when you look at the betrayal, the fact that he's not doing any of the things that he said he would do, before even going further, does he have legitimacy? Because legitimacy comes from the people and why they gave you the power. The moment you do everything that contradicts and invalidate the vote that you received, you immediately lack legitimacy. So in a democratic state, such a person should call a snap election to test whether the people still support him or not. Do you understand? Or in a democratic state, you expect parliament, if they represent the wishes of the people, to impeach him, right? But he buys them. He bribes them. He intimidates them. And because he has corrupted them, he puts the state apparatus, he weaponizes the state apparatus to arrest the people that, because he has goodies on them, or what do you call them? He has evidence of what they have done wrong, right? He doesn't have it on people like Miguna. So you can only arrest me legally.
Okay, let's.
But so the point is, when I say that the Kenyan people should remove Ruto from power, I am saying he long lost the legitimacy that we gave him on the second Tuesday of August 2022. And he's now just a rogue president.
Okay. Let's play devil's advocate here a little bit. So you say that he should have called a snap election.
That's not what I said. I said if.
Okay. I'm sorry for the terminologies. So recently they did Ipsos, or is it Ipsos or Infotrack, one of them. They did an opinion poll, and Ruto came out as the president who was as the forbearing contender if he were to run for presidency right now. I think there was others around. I think there was Matiang'i, there was Maraga probably, and others. But Ruto came at the top in that opinion poll. When it comes to our taxes, I think he says that most of this money is going to pay for debts that were taken by guys who were there before him. And he says that he intends to build, for instance, the highway from Nairobi to Kisumu or something. He also says that he intends to extend the railway from Suswa, wherever it is right now, to the border in Busia. He says all these plans that he has, including the fact that he has to make Kenya become like Singapore. And so he somehow seems to have some sort of plan. And what he's saying is that he needs time. And
I'm glad you say devil's advocate. So you are a devil's advocate. So I'll answer the devil. I'll answer the devil that sent you as an advocate.
Okay.
A devil sent you as an advocate. So now I'll go behind you and answer the devil.
Okay.
But before I answer, I'll ask you a question.
Yeah.
Because I think it is important. Jobo Gato.
Yes.
What do you have your PhD in?
My first one is in instructional design, and I'm working on regenerative medicine.
Okay.
Yes.
So these are science-based courses.
Yes.
Isn't it? And in science, we only reach conclusions based on evidence.
Yes.
It's empirically based. There's nobody who does science without empiricism.
Yes.
If you want to find out whether this building is structurally sound, you bring a structural engineer to do an analysis of the foundation and the pillars and whatnot, and find the weights, and then tell us, this is what has happened, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. So this opinion poll that, first of all, Ruto was not elected on an opinion poll. Ruto was elected under universal suffrage. The first past the post. People went and voted. Votes are counted. And who gets 50 plus 1 becomes the president, isn't it?
Yes.
So that's the majority of people in Kenya. It was not an opinion poll. Secondly, this opinion poll that you are talking about is conducted by a company you don't even know.
Yes.
Infotrack is Ambito. It's basically an individual, usually who gets paid and publishes results of the person who paid her. Because here, for example, in Canada, there are different kinds of polls. Okay? There are polls that are commissioned by individuals. And if I commission a poll, I design the questions that the pollster will ask.
Yes.
And I can guarantee you that if I was doing a poll on my popularity, the questions will be such that the answers will come back that I am the most popular. Okay. Because it depends on the questions. So who designed the questions that Ambito asked the handful of people, let's say 2,000 or 1,500? You don't know. So you don't know who commissioned the poll, and she will never tell you.
Yes.
And we know that she is not a charity, and she's not a church. And we know that she is not a billionaire. And we know that she cannot do these things for free. So who paid her to do the poll? She will never tell you.
Yes.
Secondly, who collected the samples? Do we have names? Do we have faces? Do you have a director of polling that say, I'm the one, I will take responsibility for the sampling? We don't know.
Yeah.
Who did the analysis?
We don't know.
You don't know?
Yeah.
But you trust it. You trust nothing. It could be AI. What was the sample? You don't know, right? So as a person with a doctorate and going to get a second doctorate, what is your question? You see what I mean?
Yes.
You are starting from the basis of your devil telling you the devil believes all this fakery, and you are now parroting the fakery to me, a lawyer, well-trained. You don't pass through me,
yes.
Right? Because I just, in 2 minutes, dismantled the entire thing. So whoever paid Ambitho and drafted the questions and collected the samples, if samples were collected, and conducted an analysis, if an analysis was done, is the one who should be answered. And I can tell you, it is the people she listed. The one who paid her most was Ruto, so she lists Ruto first. The second most competitive person who paid her was Matiang'i. So she lists Matiang'i second. Then the third person who paid her was Gachagua. She lists Gachagua third, then going down. Maraga did not pay, so Maraga is given 1%.
So
it's not nuclear physics.
So what you're saying is that we can't expect to have any open, objective opinion poll coming out simply because all the guys who run these things
in Kenya, my friend, if you have watched me closely, you know that in 2007, there was a Stedman group. It was a public opinion polling group. 2007, I don't know how old some of you are.
Yeah.
And just like I've dismantled this thing from the devil, I dismantled their poll in 2 minutes.
Yes.
And that is how come Kenyans did not believe even the results that came. Because they said, look, these people are just lying. I went there and I asked them two questions. Journalists were there, they couldn't ask. I told them, where are your samples? They couldn't produce. Where's your questionnaire? They couldn't show me.
Yeah.
They eventually showed me, and it was some shoddy thing that I later on released just to disprove them. Right?
Yeah.
So the fact of the matter is that these things are choreographed. And because people don't think analytically and debunk this myth, okay? We are where we are. I'll give you an example. Mamdani is currently the mayor of New York.
Yes.
All opinion polls gave him 1%. When he started, they didn't even give him 1%. They gave him less than 1%.
And
he went ahead and won. Because they were all choreographed. Don't believe in this choreography. Just like they will tell you, in Kenya you can't win elections unless you're a billionaire. Who said that? Money does not vote. People do.
Yeah.
Who says these people, even in this room, all these people are so stupid, all they care about is who has most money. Why would we believe that kind of nonsense, right? Kenyans are not that stupid.
True.
Those young people on the street that are unemployed, many of them with degrees, are not stupid. They want jobs. Why do you think they will support someone who has stolen so much money and denied them the opportunity to get jobs? This guy is still talking of intentions. And he was elected in 2022. 3 years later, he has intentions of building a highway between this. Intentions in the third year? And the term is 5 years. So when is he going to do something when he's still talking about intentions in the third year, my friend?
We have a question from a member of the audience here, Lucy. Yeah, Kevin, do you want to get a footage of? Yeah.
Oh, hey. Thank you so much for this opportunity. My name is Lucy, and it's good that I have to see you, Miguna Miguna, one-on-one. I always see you on the screen, and I think the highlight... Thank you. So the highlight of how I know Miguna Miguna was the time when you were when you were swearing in Baba as people's president. I think that's the highlight that I have about you. And as you have been talking about your story, I've realized that you actually you got out of Kenya to make Kenya better. Like whatever you were fighting for has not actually been achieved. So my question is, now that there's so many years since you came from Kenya and you're in Canada now, and you can realize that whatever that you are fighting for actually is not even attained at this point. So are you done with Kenya yet? Are you still going back to Kenya for politics, or you just advising and and all that? That's my question.
So let me take the first one first. If I was done with Kenya, I would not be here talking. And if you listened keenly to what I said throughout, that is not the language of a person who is done with Kenya. Right? The reason why I decided not to do politics in Canada is because I am more committed to the transformation in Kenya more than here. Like, a human being has to judge and has to decide, where am I likely to make the most impact? And where is my passion? So I'm not interested as much about Canadian politics as I am about Kenyan politics and Kenyan society as a whole. You see, Canada, fortunately for Canadians, is more or less a developed country, okay? Developed to the extent that there are things that we take for granted that nobody else would take for granted in other countries, okay? These lights have not gone off since we came. And there are countries where you cannot talk for 30 minutes before the lights go off. So, but you see, we take them for granted. You go to the bathroom and the tap is running and there is hot water. It's not always like that in every country. I came here and nobody bothered me, and I've been speaking and nobody has interfered with my speech. Even in the US, you can't get that. ICE would be here and they would have interfered with so many people because the majority in this room are black. And they would be asking you whether you're a citizen. So those are things we take for granted in Canada, but they're real. And they impact on people's lives. All right? So no, I'm not done with Kenya. Secondly, I think I just announced last week that I'll be running for president of the Republic of Kenya. I will be.
In
And nobody is going to tell me that Ruto is more qualified. No, he's not. I'm actually older than Ruto. Okay? He was actually 1 year behind me at the University of Nairobi. And Ruto has no integrity, and I do. Ruto has no vision, and I do. Ruto is not committed to anything, no change, and I do. Ruto is corrupt more than, I don't know which animal is most corrupt in the world. Which animal is most corrupt? People say monkey, but monkey is not that corrupt. Monkey is just hungry. Ruto is the most corrupt individual in the whole world. Can you imagine he was voted the second most corrupt person in the world? Like that is his record. And for people who actually thought that he would be different, he's no different. But you see, the good thing is, we proved in 2022 that you can defeat a president. You see, in 2022, Uhuru wanted to impose Raila Odinga. I don't call him Baba. Mm-hmm. His name is Raila Odinga. Let's not elevate. Only your father is your Baba. Mm-hmm. Okay? Don't call anybody's father your Baba. Maybe you can say God is your Baba. Mm-hmm. That you are allowed to do. Mm-hmm. But not anybody's father.
Yeah.
So Uhuru wanted to impose Raila Odinga as president. And Kenyans defeated them. If Uhuru Kenyatta, and Moi too was defeated in 2002 when he wanted to impose Uhuru Kenyatta as president, right? Mm-hmm. So Kenyans defeated Uhuru Kenyatta, defeated Moi, so we can defeat Ruto. And Ruto was not the richest person in 2022. Remember, Uhuru had taken most of his money and frozen it. He couldn't even go to Uganda to go collect the money he had given to Museveni to keep for him. So if he was able to do that with Uhuru Kenyatta as president, there is nothing that prevents us from removing him. Let nobody lie to you that we can't defeat him. We can. Because he can be defeated by the same people that elected him. Mm-hmm. These people are not zombies. They have brains. He has a few of his zombies, but they are very few. He pays them handouts. But the majority, the overwhelming majority of Kenyans, I can assure you, mm-hmm. Job, even today, mm-hmm. yourself, if you are a candidate with Ruto, you could defeat him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, will you guys vote for me if I were to run against Ruto?
Yes. You have more,
Yeah.
much more than Ruto. You are more learned than Ruto. You are more decent than Ruto.
Yeah.
You have more integrity than Ruto. You have not hurt anybody. You have not detained anybody. You have not abducted anybody. You have not tortured anybody. You have not stolen from anybody. And you have not murdered anyone.
You know, there's a guy who's called Jalango. He came out a few months ago and made some preposterous claims.
Jalango.
Yeah, Jalango is an MP. He used to be a comedian. He's an MP for Langata now. He
So
said
why
that,
do you want to discuss Jalango here?
I'm
You are
bringing up-
giving him too much. Why do you want to elevate?
I'm
Ask
not
questions,
I'm not
but don't
elevating
bring
him.
his name.
Okay, fine.
Because
So-
now you're promoting him beyond belief.
All right.
This thing is going to go viral.
Okay.
And then only Jalango has been asked about.
But what I'm saying, he said that a presidential election costs about 10 billion shillings a day or something like that, some preposterous figure.
Okay,
and I'm just imagining, I have
No,
such money around to go and run.
My friend. You see, if you're desperate, very desperate, and you've done very bad things against or to people, the main motivating factor in seeking power is to protect yourself. Because you know there are so many people you have had out there who are looking for their justice.
Yeah.
Okay? This one, you stole $30 from him, is looking for justice. That girl there, you have stolen $100. That one there, you took $200. So you know all these people are looking for money from you. So you have to come up with a strategy. So they have come up with a strategy that the best strategy is to scare voters and people who are likely to oppose him. And how do you scare them? Create up a phantom, something that they cannot match, that they will not be able to garner. And which is the easiest one? Money. Tell them that to campaign as a presidential candidate, you need some insane amount so that they just don't even try. You see?
Yeah.
I was told those stories when I ran for governor in Nairobi in 2017. They told me, oh, the cartels will do this, oh, blah, 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 blah. And a lot of people believe them. I took them on still as an independent candidate. And they were all billionaires. I was the only one with nothing. But they were all billionaires around me. I gave them a run for their money. The elections were not elections, they were coronations. So at the end of the day, they imposed Sonko, who did a mess that they had to impeach before he even finished his term. So what I'm saying, you don't run for elections, number one, because you are going to win. Because nobody knows who is going to win. But you don't run for elections because you think or you believe you're going to win. Because only one person is going to win. But should that stop everybody from running? Then it is not a democracy, isn't it?
Yeah.
You must run for elections because you have issues you are going to bring on the table. You need to table your issues. The same way, not every time as a lawyer, I go to court because I'm going to win or because I must win. There are some issues that I want to air in court. Issues that have not been aired before. That you want these judges to start thinking about, even if your case is weak. But you're preparing them for a strong case because these issues are now known to the judiciary. You have brought them on the table. They are now matters for discussion. And you're saying, let's discuss these things. You know, there was a time racism was not discussed in this society.
True.
And they told you, you could not prove it. And some of us now go to court and we get people indicted for racism and we get orders against racists because we prepared the ground. So if we don't, some of us, including you, if you don't take the initiative and run for office and bring these issues on the fore, the public will not have the opportunity to think about them, to interrogate them, to make decisions over them. Even for those in power that are going sometimes to grab power, to stand and think when they are sleeping. But that thing Miguna said could be true. You see what I mean? And for their conscience to placate. Lastly, for the record. Sometimes we go to quote for the record. These things are being recorded. They are permanent records. Later on, researchers, thinkers, people who want to change society, the society that has already been changed, we look at them and say, aha, so-and-so thought about this thing this year, this time. It is time we bring this and introduce it and implement it now. The same with the Constitution. This Constitution we have in Kenya now, 2010, was discussed when some of us were youth, and was discussed again in 2002 when Kibaki refused to enact it in the Bomas process. Eventually we got it in 2010. So nothing starts and it is actualized instantly. Sometimes it needs time. But other times, they get actualized immediately. And I'll give you a few examples. You see, Trump invaded Venezuela and kidnapped a president. And is now jailing the president. In 1999, a man called Hugo Chavez was elected president of Venezuela through a revolution. You know how? He was talking just like I'm talking. And the guy in power decided to take this guy and put in jail because he wanted to change the country and the system. And they jailed him. And when he declared to run for president in 1998, I was right here in Toronto, he campaigned from jail. He ran for elections and gave his ideas from jail, and the people elected him.
Yeah.
And he came out of jail as a president. Just the same way it happened in Senegal. All right? It happened in Czechoslovakia a few years ago. Okay? Václav Havel was elected from jail. It happened in South Africa in 1994. Mandela was literally elected in jail because by the time he came out in 1994, everybody knew he was going to be president, right? You don't have to even to be physically in any space to be elected. You know, a lot of people don't think about that. All you need is infuse enough information, enough ideas, and make people conscious. And the people that you think are just sleeping, one day on election day, they just go there and vote. And people are surprised. How did this happen? It happened just the other day in New York. They elected Mamdani. They scandalized him and say, a socialist cannot be elected. This is America. This is the largest city. He was elected and he's a socialist and he has not denounced his ideology.
Yeah.
Yes. So forget about the billions, my brother. Yeah.
I see. And I think sometimes it's you know what you've painted here. It's sometimes impossible to wrap your head around things that you've been indoctrinated in since you were a little kid.
Correct.
And what you've been seeing. At least the guys in power, they've had all this money and stuff like that. Do we have any questions?
And now
from
they're using
X
propaganda.
Right now? So let's hear from X. We probably have a question. You could either grab the microphone and read it out.
Yeah.
Do we have another question from the audience? That's going to go next. Who? Drusilla, you have a question? Okay, Drusilla, you can ask yours, and then Hillary is going to go next with this. Hey, Drusilla has written it out. Can you use two microphones, please? Give her the other microphone because we need it recorded as well.
Thank you, Dr. Miguna, for talking to us. I have a question about, like politics in Kenya generally. Since I was born, I have seen all the elections come and go, and kind of there's no democracy regardless of how many voters go to the polling station, because at the end of the day, someone uses their money to lure how voters you know, how, like, I can go vote for somebody, but when the results come out, we get that there's no justice, and we've been fighting justice since then. My question is, especially when it came to voting for Ruto, this last term, he was in a before government that had not convinced Kenyans that they're going to bring change, and there was a lot of corruption. My question actually was to you, like, did Ruto convince you to vote for him in 2022?
Oh.
And I don't know, yeah, so that is really big for me, because the intelligence that we have for you, like about you, we know that when you vote someone, you've researched and, you know, giving it your all. And we have also seen that presidents or candidates, towards the election, they come with manifestos just to try and convince, and they don't act on those manifestos. Just the same we've said, or there's something that needs to be built that keeps, you know, talking about the same thing that is never built, like 5 years on. And when people come out, especially we saw the generation, the Gen Z came out to, you know, fight for those rights, and most of them were killed and were silenced. There's not been justice that has been, like, happened up to now. Some people, like, because of that, they fear to even, you know, speak up and fight for their rights. And if we don't talk, it will continue. As a diaspora, is there something we can do? Because we watch from here, and we just, like, we are, like, verbalizing from within ourselves. Like, as a person, I would say, let them go and, you know, let them fight. But as a diaspora, is there something that we can do, even as a community, come together and support those youths out there to bring change to our country? Because at the end of the day, it will be 5 years, same people, same president. And when they actually use the state resources to silence people, it's even worse. So how can we help? How can we come together as a community, as the diaspora, for example, to help those people back home? Because at the end of the day, we also want to change home. Thank you.
Thank you.
So those are very good questions. I'll take the second one first. So you ask a very good question. How did Ruto convince me? He didn't. Ruto didn't convince me. He couldn't. Okay? Ruto couldn't convince me, and Ruto didn't convince me.
Is there something wrong with the mic?
Yeah, it's standing like this. So this is why I voted for Ruto and why I campaigned for him. I've explained this before, but I think a lot of people either forget or they don't remember, which is the same thing, or some of them didn't hear it. So I hope today, those who did not hear, who forgot, and who don't remember, which is the same thing, can have this settled once and for all. If you recall, in 2018, I was coordinating a group called National Resistance Movement Kenya, which culminated in the swearing in of Raila Odinga at Uhuru Park, which I did. And after that, I initiated boycotts of all the companies, industries, and interests, financial interests of those who stole the 2017 presidential election. Because of that, they blew up my house with explosives on the 2nd of February 2018, abducted me from my house, and detained me in Comunicado, meaning they detained me without me having access to lawyers, to family, to doctors, to anyone, for 6 days. Despite the fact that different judges at the High Court of Kenya ordered them to release me. When eventually they did release me, on the 6th of February 2018, they took me to the airport and forced me into a plane to Toronto after taking my Kenyan passport and destroying it. Okay? And then subsequently, I took action, legal action against them. I won all the cases that I initiated against them until the court said, look, Miguna can come back to Kenya anytime he wants, and he can enter Kenya with his national ID card because you have refused to give him his passport. On the 26th of March, 2018, after I had toured the US and Europe, and I'd been invited to Oxford to give a speech, I came directly from London to Kenya. I arrived on the 26th. They blocked me from entering the country. They detained me at the airport. They assaulted me. In fact, they tore my coat. Everybody could see it was in tatters. They stole my money. They beat me up and tried to force me into the next plane. And I refused. I resisted. They then abducted me and detained me at the airport. They beat up, tear-gassed, and injured my lawyers and the press at the airport. On the third day, after the High Court had ordered them not to remove me from the country, they sedated me and I regained consciousness in Dubai. That is the United Arab Republic, Emirates. So from Dubai, I ended up back in Canada. Okay? April 2018. Then they issued red alerts and stopped me from flying into any African country. It was not just to Kenya. It was to all African countries. And they stopped me from using any electronic money transfer. I could not for 5 years receive or send money using any method. I could not use MoneyGram. I could not use Western Union. I could not use electronic money transfer at the bank. I couldn't have a credit card. The same thing that Trump is doing to Albanese, you know, that, or the ICC prosecutor. That's what Trump has done now. And that's what was done to me for 5 years. If you find yourself in that situation, what do? Physically, you can't go back to your country. You can't even go to the African continent. You can't transact financially, which means you can't work. I'm a lawyer. I can't set up a business. I can't run my practice. I can't have a livelihood. And you're cut off physically from your country. Any sensible person would want to defeat the people that did this to him. Would want his passport back, would want to be able to go back to his country. During that period, I lost a lot of my relatives and I could not attend their funerals. My father-in-law died when I was here. My sister-in-law died. Sister-in-law meaning my brother's wife died when I was here. The woman who actually raised me after my mother died, because my brother was much older than me. So his wife was like a mother to me. Okay? And these things happened when I was here. Now, I couldn't run for elections from here. I couldn't do anything. Essentially, they made me non-existent. So when elections came, and remember, I did this to Raila. I swore him in. And in March, he betrayed me and went to bed with Uhuru Kenyatta and was supporting all these things happening to me. He was supporting, including my sedation, okay? Including me being blocked from going back to Kenya. A lot of people don't know, but it is true. Raila and Uhuru were working together on this because they were so scared that I'd garnered a lot of support that they feared that the movement could remove Uhuru from power, and Raila didn't want that. So essentially he didn't want power. I realized, unfortunately too late. That is why during my first speech I was warning you to be very careful. So when there was a candidate with the best prospect of defeating them came on, I had to support him as a logical person. I'm a scientific man. I analyze. And I knew this is the only way to defeat them, and I would be able to go back to my country. So I supported Ruto for just that reason, no other reason. I knew he was a crook. I knew he was a thief. I knew he was incorrigible. I knew he could not be reformed. I knew all of this, but I knew if Ruto did not win and Raila won, I would die in exile. Would you? What would you choose? Would you choose a man who had sedated you? And by the way, sedation is death. I thought I was dead, actually. When I regained consciousness in Dubai, I was surprised. Because to me, I was dead. You know, they were injecting me when I'm seeing. And I'm losing consciousness as I am conscious. So to me, I didn't know what their plans were. I didn't know they wanted to remove me out of the country. They were killing me, and I thought I was dead. And that's why I'm telling you I don't fear death. Mm-hmm. Because at the point, what are you going to do? You have to stare death in the face and refuse to surrender. And I did. So I supported Ruto only on that narrow point, that I wanted Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga to be defeated. I wanted that kind of impunity to end. And it did. And he issued me with a passport. And I went back to Kenya. And I'm able to go back to Kenya, and I'm able to criticize Ruto, and I'm still alive. He has not sedated me. He did not detain me. He has not forced me out of my country. He has not destroyed my passport. So he has done all these bad things, but those he has not done. So to that extent, he's better than them. Okay? I'll put it back to you and give you this example. You have a man that you're married to that is brutalizing you every day, that is spitting on you, that is mutilating you. And there is a neighbor who can rescue you from this, even though he's not a good man. But he's the only one who can rescue you from this brutality. Would you allow to be rescued, or will you die here? Most people will say, you know what? He may be a bad man, but I can't stand this anymore. Anything is better than this. That's what the slaves did when they were being brutalized. That's what Africans who were fighting for freedom during colonialism did. That's what I did. I would do it again if in the same circumstances. But I'm not his slave. I never told him that I'm supporting you blindly, and that whatever you do, because you have given me the passport, which is my right, you've allowed me to come back to the country, which is my right, you've not detained me, and they did, I would not criticize you when you do bad things to Kenyans. That was not a deal, and we never had a deal. I never had a deal with Ruto. I've never had a deal with him, and I will never have a deal with him. So that's the answer to your first question. The second one is, what do we do? Do exactly what I'm doing. Criticize these people from the rooftops every day, every opportunity you get. You would be surprised that the thing dictators fear most is criticism. You know, a lot of people think they fear guns. No, they have guns. They have the biggest guns. Trump has the biggest guns. The things they fear most are those women and men on the streets. So protest in whatever way you can. If you can protest on the streets, do so. If you can protest in social media, do so. If you can protest in whatever way, do so. 1. 2, support all causes that are meant to change this undemocratic, tyrannical system that we have. Not just defeating Ruto, changing, transforming, by identifying the right candidates and the right platforms and the right political parties that will be able to help Kenya get there. If there are no candidates or parties that that come close to what you visualize as the best system, form yours and be a candidate. Because there is nobody who has more rights than you. We are all citizens. We are all human beings. We all have brains. We all have rights. There is no limit. If it is 1,000 people, no matter what it is. If you can contribute financially for campaigns or individuals that you support, do so. Do whatever it is that you think will get us there. The more we are, the sooner we do it, the louder we do it, the sooner we will get there. Those are my answers to you.
True. Yeah, there's what Joseph, you have a question? Go on.
Good evening, everyone. Dr. Miguna Miguna, we are happy to have you here. My name is Joseph Ongaro. You actually answered part of a question that I had, like what do we do? So that one, I will not go there. So I will have something lesser than that, which is, like you said, Kenya has become a banana republic. All of us do agree. I do agree because in Kenya, sometimes we get like donations of maybe hospital machinery. And then a minister who is sitting in power decides to sell these machines to a private hospital, Nairobi Hospital and many other hospitals. I would wonder so much, where will my grandmother go when she needs attention and she doesn't have the means to go to Nairobi Hospital? We admire you. Like, let me speak for myself. I do admire you. Because when you say since you came to Canada, the lights have never gone on. I mean, never gone off. There is running hot and cold water on the taps. What does that tell me, or maybe my colleagues seated here? That you pay attention to the very small things. And you said 2027, you're going for presidency. My question to you, how fast can we move? Because since I came to this country, years go very fast. Dr. Miguna Miguna, would you move with speed? Because people like you is what Kenya needs, so that we do not become a banana republic. I am a father. I have 3 children, I have a wife, and all of us here, we have families. We need a future in Kenya. Whether I'll be there or not, my kids would want to go there and have a future there. When we talk to you one-on-one like this and you share details that are very clean and profound, please move with speed. Are you moving with speed to become president of the Republic of Kenya, please? That's my question to you.
Thank you, Ogeto. Is it Ogato or Ogeto?
My name is Joseph Ongaro.
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 Okay. So, Bwana Ongaro, it depends on what speed is. We all must do things that are rational, that are proportional, and that are realistic, okay? Within our means. I've already announced, and I am giving people what it is I believe in, okay? I am not assuming that people know what I stand for, what my vision are. That's why I'm talking, all right? And I believe that in fairness, I have given more or less a wholesome explanation as to where I have come from, why I believe in the things I believe in, and what I think, practically speaking, we need to do to be able to transform the environment called Kenya, so that it can also be like here, right? That's what a candidate needs to do. There is nothing else you're supposed to do. You see, eventually there will be an election and people will be campaigning, okay? But if you physically start campaigning now, physically on the ground, on a daily basis, it's too far. Only Ruto, because he's already president and he has the resources of the state, and people like Gachagua, who have stolen since I was with him in the university, okay? And Matiang'i, who stole very well when he was Minister of Interior, okay? I have to say that openly, because I know 3 buildings he's building in Westlands, and he would not build it from the salary. Those are billion-dollar things, okay? Those ones have the money to do that, and they have the interest to protect what they have stolen. And it is not a secret. If you go to the Auditor General's report, you will see pages and pages of what they have stolen. It's all documented, by the way. So that if you want to arrest these people, it's so easy, the work is already done. If you want to take back what they have stolen, so easy, because the work is already done. You may need a bit of forensic investigation to determine what they have stashed abroad. But the ones they have in Kenya are there, we know them, okay? So I'm going to run at the speed at which I can run. I am not Bolton, or Bolt. I'm not Bolt, Usain Bolt. If you are me, who is not Usain Bolt, and you want to run like Usain Bolt, you will crash. So you run at your pace and hope that these citizens have a brain or brains. They will be able to digest. They will be able to make a decision. And I can assure you that once citizens have digested and have made decisions, you don't have to be repeating the same thing to them all the time. You said you're married. When you met your wife, you didn't need convincing that woman was beautiful to you and you needed to marry her, right? You didn't have to see her every day. Correct? You didn't have to be reminded, even right now, that she is your wife so that you don't cheat. You know that even if she's not right here, she's still your wife, and you will go home and you will find her, right? The same thing. If you're a candidate and you've unveiled your candidature and people have listened to you, we all should expect that the citizens have a memory, have a brain, should be able to have a conscience to do the right thing. If they don't, well, the blame is not on you. You've done your part. And I will be contented to say, I did my part, I gave it a run, they made their decision. Let them now live with the consequences of electing a crook when they had good candidates they could choose from.
True.
Okay?
All right, so you have one? Okay, cool.
My name is Ian.
Yes.
All the politics, the criticism aside, so at the end of the day, I understand you are a father. What do you love doing most, even here in Canada and back home? At your spare time when maybe you're not in work? Yeah, that's my question.
So, your name is?
Ian.
Ian, everything is politics. Even being a husband is politics. Yeah, there is politics of marriage. There is politics in the house, even in the kitchen. The politics of buying groceries and who is going to drive the children to school and who is paying tuition. Maybe you are too young, you've not reached the stage where tuition is there. But I'm saying politics is the way society is organized and power is exercised. Power is exercised everywhere, even in your bedroom. So to that extent, there is politics all the time. What do I love doing most? Okay? Fighting for justice. I love that more than anything else.
In your spare time?
I do this all the time.
Okay.
Even within my family. Call my children and ask them, between your mother and father, who is just?
Okay.
I get the vote
unanimously
all the time from my daughters and my son. Because I'm fair. Do you understand? At the end of the day, whether it is domestic, public, or private, at the end of the day, be just, be fair, be reasonable, be humane. Okay? Give everybody a fair shake, a fair chance. Don't prejudge anyone. As I told you, even in this society, there are white racists, there are other racists, and there are very good white people. There are good Chinese people. There are good Indian people. There are good people from all cultures. And then there are very bad people from all of them too, right? So all you need to do is be watchful and have your ears open. But if you are just, I go to sleep every day so peacefully because I know there is nobody outside waiting for me that I did something wrong. That's how peaceful I am. I go to sleep every day so peacefully. I have not stolen anybody's thing, anything. My clients, not stolen a dime since I started practice in 1995 before many of you were conceived. I have never been investigated by the Law Society of Ontario. That's an excellent record in terms of being taken to the Law Society for discipline. I have no disciplinary record. People make allegations and whatnot. They all fall by the wayside because I'm as clean as you can get. I'm not saying I've not been, people have not made allegations. They have. But the thing is, when you do, and you face Miguna with this clean record, you fail. And they have failed many times. Do you understand?
True.
They have failed in Kenya many times, including the president of Kenya, and Raila Odinga. And they have failed here in Toronto. Okay?
True.
No matter which court, Miguna gets cleared because I'm so clean and I keep my records. I have receipts. So like this meeting, I have receipts. If you accuse me of being somewhere and I was here, I have my receipts.
Yes.
You will have to prove it, right?
Yes.
And I have Ogato here. He was with me.
As a witness.
So I'm saying you have to love that. You have to love that as being your life. But yes, I also have a wife, a lovely wife that I love, and my children. But you know, my children are now adults. They have their own lives. And I don't cling to children. Mothers do. We fathers, we are able to disengage, isn't it? Women, very difficult. My baby, my baby. Even when the baby say, please, please, I'm not a baby anymore. So I'm one of those people who say, no, you are an adult, you have responsibilities, you have rights, you have privileges, exercise them reasonably as everybody else. And that's the best that you can do as a father. So you just have to know that. Don't impose on your children. If any of your children want to become a doctor, let them become a doctor. If one says, I want to drive the TTC bus, that is what the child wants to do. So don't say, because I'm a lawyer or I'm a doctor, my children must be lawyers and doctors. No. That is the system I'm opposing. That is the system I want to liberate Kenyans from. The artificial system of stratification, of forcing people to do things that they don't want. Okay? And even if you make mistakes, if your child does something and it is a mistake, that's also part of growth. Because you learn through mistakes. I will not tell you that I've not made mistakes. I told you that I have, right? And I've been betrayed. And there are things that I've done that maybe people will also criticize, isn't it? That is to be human, because we are not perfect.
True. We're going to go to X now. We are in the final half hour of our...
half hour, my friend. We've gone for a long time.
Yeah, we have about 17 minutes to go. So yeah, let's hear from Max.
Thank you so much for honoring this invitation and coming here, talking to us. It is a good thing. You have so many people online that following you up. Actually, in Kenya, people are still on.
They're still
listening.
awake.
Yeah, they're still awake and watching this.
I appreciate that.
There are several questions they're asking here, but I want to narrow them to three only.
Okay.
Number one, which party are you going to run? You're going to use to run
National Transformation Party. So that's easy. I have a party called National Transformation Party.
Thank you.
And the X handle is at NTP Kenya.
Right, they are listening. Another question is, General Miguna Miguna, you have announced to vie for the presidency of Kenya in 2027. And your vision is built on socialism rather than capitalism, aiming to break from elite-driven politics and priorities the people's interest. Given this, what are the first three bold policy actions you'll take in your first 100 days to address unemployment, inequality, and corruption that capitalism or capitalist model has failed to solve?
The question answers itself. In fact, that guy is excellent. You see, he said inequity, corruption, and what?
Unemployment.
And unemployment. You see, he's listed them. He's listed them for me. The only thing I will add there is to dismantle the colonial state. That's where I start. I intend to dismantle the colonial state, restructure a new republic with an organic, indigenous structures. What do I mean by that? When the British came to Kenya, they did not come there to settle for purposes of making Kenya a society that would thrive and prosper. They came there to extract. They came to, first of all, to colonize, meaning to turn us into their own slaves so that we could work for free, and they can take our land and natural resources without compensation and then enrich their own countries. So when they brought the security apparatus, say the police, the armed forces, the police, the intelligence, the military, they were supposed to help them extract raw resources and labor for the benefit of the empire. That is what has continued. When independence came, we just transferred the power from the British white man to a black man. But the relationship, the social relation between the citizen and the governors remained the same. The extraction, instead of the British man extracting and taking to Britain to build and prosper the empire, it is now the Kenyan man and woman doing it against each other. So we have less than 1% that became the colonial master, that has grabbed all the land, that is taking all the labor and making a profit out of it, and then stashing most of it abroad and some of it within for the benefit of their families. And they are less than 1%. Ruto belongs to that 1%. Raila belongs to that 1%. All these families belong to that percentage. The rest of the population are the chattel slaves. You are all just supposed to be slaves. Whatever you do, you are serving the same master. That relationship must be dismantled. It is the same reason why when Kenyans are demonstrating, the policeman feels that protecting a shop is more important than shooting a citizen. So that life is less important, because to them, they are trained and institutionally, they believe that the person with wealth and power is the owner of the country, not the citizen on the street. Okay? That has to change. That mentality must change. And it cannot change if you do not dismantle this thing. We never did. We never dismantled it in 1964, 1963. We have never dismantled it. We talk about the Constitution. The Constitution does not enforce itself. You see, I get court orders. How do I make sure that the court orders are enforced and people get what the courts have issued to them if the police are not going to do it? Because the police won't. I have orders against Matiang'i. I can't collect because Ruto is protecting Matiang'i. Why do you think Ruto protects Matiang'i? Because they belong to the same club. Ruto will be so happy if Matiang'i is president because they are the same, but we will continue complaining. If Matiang'i is president today, you will complain the same way you are complaining against Ruto. If any of these thugs, except for Maraga, if any of them took power, you will complain, and there will be no change. You see, at least Maraga is a good Christian who trusts God and respects and actually obeys God. Is that good of a Christian? There are certain things he cannot do because he's a good Christian. Do you understand? And he's not corrupt. So to that extent, he's good. The only difference I have with him, he respects the colonial state. That is the only reason why I'm standing. Because I've poked him and prodded him to see if he can go beyond the colonial state. He can't. You see, there are people like that. They have limitation, philosophical, ideological limitations. They see this state as a leviathan that is all acting. And I tell him, look, you can't say that you will let institutions run when most, if not all these institutions have just abused Kenyans. These institutions have tortured Kenyans, have committed extrajudicial killings. You cannot respect that. You have to dismantle them. They cannot work the way they have been working. We cannot accept that. But that's too radical for him. Do you understand? Yes. And you see, that is the reason why Traore is making changes in Burkina Faso more than all of them. Because he's brave enough to confront the colonial edifice, the colonial state, and try to dismantle it for the benefit of the people. You have to do that. Otherwise, we will just be talking, and we are talking rubbish. These laws, some of the laws, need not be there in the statute books. The Chiefs Authority Act is still there in the Kenyan statute books. The same thing the British used to destroy Kenyans. Now, look, we still have chiefs. We still have so-called county commissioners, isn't it? Yet in the Constitution, the provincial administration was dismantled in the same Constitution. Maraga was Chief Justice for a very long time, and he never made a ruling on that. You see? Another problem I have with him, he was Chief Justice for more than 5 years, isn't it? What did he do about corruption in the judiciary? Concretely? Anything, anybody? When was a judge, any judge, corrupt judge, handcuffed or fired? He was the chairman of the Judicial Service Commission.
Couldn't they say that they weren't able to prove that any of the judges was corrupt?
And you are saying you can't prove? If today I told you find corruption in this room, and I gave you these people for 30 days, and one of them is corrupt, and you come to me and you say you can't prove, isn't that incompetence? Because you should be able to prove. You have all the instruments of power. By the way, corruption is like a drunkard or a smoker. You know, if you put a smoker in this room, you know these people who are walking up and down, some of them are smokers. They can't sit for 45 minutes. So it's very easy to tell who is a smoker. They will sit there 45 minutes, they have to go and pump garbage into their lungs. Right? So, I don't need to have gone to medical school to detect a smoker in this room. Mm-hmm. And if I can't, I'm incompetent. Do you understand? Detecting corruption is the easiest thing any thinking being can do. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, we all have this, right? Everybody has a phone. And it's all a smartphone, isn't it? All of them have cameras, all right? All of them are connected through a server. If money comes into my phone, it's seen everywhere if we want to see it. And all you need to ask is, where did that money come from? What did you do? What services did you deliver? What goods did you deliver? Because really, why am I getting paid unless I won a lotto? In which case it will be publicly known also, right? I bought a lotto card, I chose numbers, or it was a quick pick, I went and it was a winner. And I go to collect it. Everybody knows. Is there anything, any money you can receive on your phone without anybody knowing? And these people tell us billions, trillions are missing from the treasury and nobody knows where it went. But there was somebody in charge of them and nobody goes to jail. So you see, when they tell you these things are complex, they are so easy. Even somebody who did not finish high school can do this.
So if you were in power then, and as we are finishing here, if you are in power and all these things are happening, what would you do differently that would, fish out these people in the first 100 days?
Job, that question has been answered many times.
Yeah, Daktari, swali moja imeulizwa hapa na Gen Z.
Yeah.
And the question is, I'm a young person and coming up, and actually she's a lady, and she's saying that I was hoping that you will perhaps speak on the inspiration behind the socialist ideology that you hold. You have also in so many occasions commended, mentioned and congratulated socialists, such as recently Naledi, Gabriel, Guevara. You have also in equal measure, Naledi.
You mean the president of Namibia?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And you have also in equal measure condemned greedy capitalists and even labeled them as despots. I agree with you that capitalism has no place in our position as leadership and governance, and especially context of Kenya leadership. So generally, you have recently argued that capitalism has failed Kenyans and that social is the only path to equity. However, Kenya's economy is deeply integrated into global markets and debt-tied institutions like the IMF. Beyond the integrity, what is your specific? That's the question now. What is your specific mechanism for transitioning Kenya to socialist model without triggering capital flight or an economic blockade that will hurt the very Kenyans you aim to protect?
You see, this is why I started by saying, one of the things I said is that people should listen keenly. You see, listening is very important. And after you listen, try to digest the information that you are given. Because if you don't digest, if you don't comprehend, and you don't understand what is given, you will not make any qualitative improvement in your environment. And I think the lady or the girl, the young woman, is asking a good question, but I don't think did a good listening, or maybe did not listen to all the things that I said. You see, you don't have to proclaim, you don't have to give something a name if you have already identified it and described it. For example, if somebody has HIV/AIDS and I've described the symptoms of HIV, I don't have to say, oh, so and so. After I identify the symptoms, I don't have to call it HIV/AIDS, because those who know will already know, right? Sometimes it is not that important to call a name once you've described it. So I'll give you a few examples. I've said that the first order of business, it is to dismantle the colonial state. And so the question the person should ask is, what is the nature of the colonial state? It is the crony capitalistic state. So I'm saying I'm going to dismantle it. So therefore I'm going to dismantle capitalism in Kenya. And then I have stated exactly some of the things that I will do in order to do that. I said the social relations and the means of production will be addressed. Who owns the means of production in Kenya? I have been on this. I've said less than 1%. Apart from the foreigners, less than 1% on land and the means of production. That's capital. That's where capitalism comes from capital. So if you make the ownership of the means of production, you give it to the population, the 99% of the people, are you not addressing the situation? Because you're saying the wealth should be in the hands of the people that produce it. And the people that produce it are the owners of the means of production, who are the people, the majority of the people. How will capital fly when you have dismantled the 1% that is not investing in Kenya? They steal from Kenyans and they take to Swaziland. Is that not capital flight? When they go to Jersey, the island of Jersey, or they go to the other, Panama, or the other places that they hide their capital, is that Kenya? How is that capital helping us grow? People are scared that we are going to be in conflict with the IMF and the World Bank. How are they helping us? By lending money to Ruto so that Ruto can steal with his cronies? Is that helping us?
Probably
because
not.
that money does not come to us. That money is left in Washington and New York, where their watches are not like mine. They wear 50 million shilling watches. A human being. A human being is wearing. What do you think that is, my friend? Is that not an illness? Because what difference does it make whether my watch is $100 or 50 million, does it tell the wrong time? Does it tell the wrong time?
Prestige,
Why should
maybe.
you have your phone with the diamonds around it so that it costs 10 million shillings? It's vanity, isn't it? But yet it affects the country. If I only addressed 3 of these things and created employment for the youth who are unemployed, which is 75% of it, my friend, I would have done my part. I would say, you know what? The rest, Hillary, do the rest. Job, do the rest. Ian, do the rest. I've done my part. I'm ready to die. Because what else should one person do? Just like I gave you the example of Chavez. When Chavez took power in 1999, the unemployment in Venezuela was 75% or thereabout. And the poverty level was 67%. When he died, okay, in 2013, the poverty level had been reduced to 6%. And they tell you socialism is bad. These guys are dictators. The reason why the fool in Washington is complaining about the oil is the fact that Exxon, Mobil, Chevron, whatever American companies were controlling almost 99% of the Venezuelan oil and taking the wealth to the US. And Chavez said no. He nationalized the oil. The revenue of the oil is now helping the Venezuelans. If you are in Venezuela today, you go to university, up to university without paying tuition. The same thing was happening in Libya. And there was no rent in Libya. You could come to an apartment, you like it, you go and they give you accommodation. You don't pay rent. You don't pay public transport. Buses were free. Taxis were free. Taxis. Okay? Trains were free. Education was free up to PhD. The same with Cuba, even up to now. But they say, oh, communism is bad. No. Their problem is this. I'll tell you what their problem is. They know that their system is really, really not working. This system where we live is not working. You go to emergency today, you will wait for 8 hours before a doctor attends to you, right? And people die waiting there. It's not the same in Cuba, which they say is a rotten society. And the Cuban economy and the Venezuelan economy is at the state in which it is, even Iran, because there is economic embargo. They can't let them sell their oil to at the market rate to whoever wants to buy it. They don't allow them to import what they want, even to improve their industry. They can't trade with whoever they want. Don't you see Trump was saying he said they gave him, but he just took 50 billion barrels of oil of another country, and he proudly says, and people support, I took, and I'm going to sell it for the benefit of the US. And when the change is left, I'm going to give some of it to Venezuela. Did you hear it? Yet under international law, and he knows, under the UN Charter, every country is equal to the other, whether you are a superpower or you are a third world. Every country has equal rights, just like you guys, every one of us have equal rights because we are human beings. The same thing with countries. You cannot, because you have power or wealth, go to another country, kidnap their president, and bring him to your country under your laws, not their laws, because he didn't commit any crime in the US, and he didn't commit any crime in Venezuela. Then you say, I've arrested him because he's a drug dealer. There's no evidence first of all, that any cocaine leaves Venezuela for the US. Venezuela does not produce cocaine. Cocaine comes from Mexico and Colombia. Fentanyl comes from China, not from Venezuela. A week before he kidnapped Maduro, he released a drug pin that was convicted for 45 years, the former president of Honduras, and took him back to Honduras, a president that had been convicted in the US courts. So, my friend, we need to disagree with the World Bank and the IMF very viciously so that they can stay in America. The same way the Burkina Faso government had disagreed with them viciously, and they are not doing anything to Burkina Faso. Do you understand? We don't need their debts. We are self-sufficient. We have enough resources to take care of ourselves. If we need anything from Canada, we will buy it. If we need something from the US, we will buy it. We will pay and they will deliver. It will be trade, not colonialism. Just the same way we relate today. I live in my house. I go grocery shopping. I pick what I want and can pay for. I reach at the counter. They bring the thing. I pay. I take my goods. Nobody tells me I must eat 2 eggs instead of 3. Nobody tells me I must shop 10 times instead of twice a month or once. Nobody tells me breakfast must be cereals instead of porridge. Nobody has that power over my house. The same thing with the countries. Nobody has power to tell Kenyans and their president and their government what to do, who to trade with, who to borrow from, at what rate, for the benefit of the people. And that's exactly my point. So yes, in answer to her, these are the things I will do. And where I fail, you will condemn me, you will remove me, you will stone me, you will correct me, or you will replace me and do better than me. And you have full right to do that.
Thank you. Thank you very much, man. This has been so awesome, man. Hearing from all the questions and everything. As we are landing this plane in the tradition of this podcast, we normally treat our guests like presidents. You might bash me for this. I'm treating you like a president, of course, before you become president. Similar to all my guests
President
here.
of room 1.
The Gibson
room
room.
101.
And so we borrowed this from the US presidency, actually, where the president in office normally leaves a letter to the next president who's coming into office. And since this is a podcast and what we do here is ask questions, the guest who was here most recently left a question for you. Okay. The guest of episode 100, Mwafrika, left a question for you.
What was the question?
And you're also going to get an opportunity to actually leave a question for our guest 102, Honorable Hulda Hitsley of Minneapolis State Legislature. And so your question is, why did you not consider the offer from Sonko to be the deputy governor, considering you would have done a great job? This is an assumption that you would have been able to enter Kenya.
So, with all due respect to the person who is asking the question, and I didn't want to be rude, but the question is stupid.
Okay.
I will answer it nonetheless. No, I have to say it. The question is flagrantly stupid, but I will answer it. Firstly, I didn't recognize Sonko in the elections of 2017, and it's a matter of public record, right? So, and Sonko was my opponent. And during the campaign, and I think some of you have the memory and have probably watched some of the clips, I said Sonko was part of the cartels. I said that publicly on TV. I said it repeatedly. I tabled evidence as to why Sonko was a cartel. I not only did that, I proved that Sonko had a criminal record. Sonko had been jailed in Shimolatewa prison for fraud, Sonko escaped from jail illegally, ran away from jail, took permission to go and bury his mother, and did not go back to jail and changed his name. So that when they came for him, he was a different person. But it's just because they didn't want to arrest him. That's how Sonko became Sonko. Okay? If you look at Sonko's name, those are not his names. Movie, whatever, those are just names he made. So that's on the one side. So anyone with memory, and this guy was there, alive and an adult, would have remembered, number one, Miguna did not recognize Sonko. Number two, these are the things Miguna said about Sonko. How then does Miguna deputize the person that he didn't recognize and say is a crook? Secondly, did the person actually know that Sonko nominated me? Because how do you nominate somebody you have never spoken to? Sonko never spoke with me, right? So he couldn't have nominated me because he never spoke with me. And I never accepted the nomination, because that's what a nomination is, okay? Thirdly, and finally, Sonko was facing impeachment for corruption and for failure to replace a deputy governor who had resigned, if you recall.
Igade, was it Igade?
Yes,
yeah.
Igade, who is as corrupt as Sonko himself. And so in that thing, my name was being used for diversionary reason. The same way Trump is using Maduro and Venezuela because he does not want the Epstein files to be in the news. The same thing here. Sonko goes to a man of integrity and says, I've nominated him because he's an affix. How stupid would I be to get him out of the fix that he deserves, a position that he ought not to have been in? Because Sonko should never have been governor. In a properly governed society, even Sakaja should never have been governor. Because Sakaja does not even have a university degree. You see, and you need a university degree to run for elections. And Ruto goes to Uganda and tells Museveni, give this guy a fake degree so that he can run. And that's exactly what happened. This university Sakaja is supposed to have gone to is, you know, this corner stores here where you go, convenience stores. And on top of it, people live, and downstairs there's a convenience store. That's the university. Upstairs.
It's called Teams University.
On top of a convenience store.
Okay.
With nobody inside.
Oh man, Miguna, it's been great hanging out with you. This has been a great opportunity. Here's an opportunity to write a... Thank you very much, sir. Here's the opportunity to write your question to the next guest on the show.
You can write the question, I can ask it. Just write it. Just write it.
Well, normally the tradition is that the guest will write the question.
No, I'm not writing the question.
Okay.
I'm dictating the question.
Okay, in Miguna's style, we are going to dictate this question.
I'm going to dictate the question.
Okay, what's the question, Miguna?
The question to the next person is
we're going to cut this part out. So
and is the next person a Kenyan?
Yeah, Hulda Hitsley is the Kenyan lady who's Minnesota governor, Minnesota representative, state representative.
Right now?
Yes.
Still?
Yeah, she still is a representative in the Minnesota state.
Oh, okay, okay.
Thank you very much, Dr. Miguna. Thank you very much, our audience. It's very interesting. When we started this about 3 hours ago, I didn't know that it was gonna take this long. You might want to pivot it along the same line here.
Okay.
There. But similar to when we started this about 3 years ago, we didn't know that this was going to be possible for us to get here. But thanks a lot. I can see everyone who made it out here tonight. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot to Rosie for your beautiful music.
But I wanted to say this because I think you've. I wanted to give accolades to him because I think people have to. You did not introduce yourself properly. Yeah. This man is one of the most educated Kenyans anywhere in the world. And that's the truth, right?
Thank you.
Because it's not just easy to get a PhD. It's very difficult to get 2 PhDs. And he's on the road to getting a second one. He's doing a postdoc, right? And yet, Kenyans will not recognize that. And the country, and this is what I have a problem with the so-called presidents and leaders and governors. They would never come to you, Job, because you're not dressed up in a 3-piece suit and talking in fake accents. They will not come to you and say, now that you have studied this much, because it's not for nothing. Somebody does not sit for hours and years and get these degrees and there is nothing in his head, right? How can we use the knowledge that you've acquired in whatever area to improve our conditions in whatever way? So you will be allowed to identify which area you will bring your expertise for purposes of improvement. Then we can discuss the terms, if there are terms. Because sometimes they can give it for free. But number one, there is no recognition. Number two, they will never give you an opportunity to help even when you can. So you are here teaching Canadian students so that they can help Canada, but not Kenya. Okay? Mm-hmm. So I want you also to think about that.
Okay.
And to see how you can help my administration.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I guess with that, we're going to finish here, man. Episode 101 of the CouchNet podcast. It's a wrap.